Hello, my beautiful, beautiful people. I'm sorry, I'm a little late. I left you with an empty frame. I had to make my ice cream soda. Okay, Pepsi and Dulce de Leche Haagen-Dazs. Okay, sponsor me, bitch. What's up, you guys? Let me get a mic check. Mic check 1 2 1 2. Mic check 1 2 1 2. See, I'm repping for the Young Lords Party. Okay, I'm repping for the Young Lords Party. A few of you people may know who that is. You should know. You should know. Okay, if you know about the Black Panther Party, you should know about the Young Lords Party. But I digress. Tonight's gonna be a fun night. Okay, it's gonna be easy peasy tonight. Easy peasy tonight. We're gonna go over some of the things that went over. You know what I mean? For this past week. This week has been a little crazy in the celebrity world and real world, but we've been tackling topics here on the Block with Jen. So I want to do, you know what I mean, a recap of anything that we discussed. And if you guys want to come up, I am literally dropping the link right now because I do want people here early. It's Saturday night, right? So let's not fuck around. Let's get right to talking to each other. This is the night. If you want to recap anything that you've seen on the Block with Jen this week, feel free to throw them questions in the chat. I prefer them thrown in there with a super chat, right? Speaking of, let's take care of a little business. I am on the Block with Jen on all social media platforms. That includes Cash App. If you're catching the replay and you want to support the show, help mama keep the church lights on, you already know what to do. Cash App right there on the Block with Jen, on the Block with Jen at Gmail, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, literally, I said all social media platforms. On the Block with Jen. Hit me on the Block with Jen at Gmail if you want to suggest a topic, you want to do a collaboration, you want to hit me up for an interview. That is where you go do it, okay? I get a lot of topic suggestions in there. Doesn't mean I'm going to pick yours. It just means that it's great for you to throw them in there for me and my panel. I usually pick the ones I think are good for me and my panel and my audience to go over, okay? What's up, Luis Canya? All right, guys. So if you want to come up, feel free to come up. If you've never been up before, this is a safe space. Although my only rule is you got to show your face. We do face here. We do face on the Block with Jen. I know a lot of you live your best lives in the chat, and a lot of you live your best lives behind the avatar, and you like arguing with people like this, right? That's how a lot of you argue with people online. No, that's not what I said, man. Fuck these people, fuck these hoes. Nah, man. That's how y'all argue behind your avatars. But here we do faces, okay? So we're doing faces tonight. We don't do avatars. I don't argue with avatars, okay? We left that in 2022. We are elevating, we are upgrading 2023. I need your face. If you can't say it with your face, I respect it, I understand, but you can't get on the panel, okay? We're gonna go over a lot of stuff that went down this past week on the Block with Jen. Some of you were privy and witnesses to a lot of it. If you have a question about something that happened on the panel, on the show, feel free to ask, okay? We will answer the questions, all right? You know, you're going to get the real from me at all times, okay? Let's see who comes up. This was short notice for my panel, but I'm hoping that they got the notification and they'll be here. Thank you, a righteous name. You know what's up, right? You know what time it is, right? All right? A lot of people don't know. You know what time it is. Salute to you, sir. If you know what my t-shirt's all about. Okay, got me some text that's not important. All right, guys. So let's get this party started. There's a couple stories that I wanted to go over that are going on in the presses. And also, I want to go over anything, you know what I mean, that was questionable on the block the past week. Whatever questions you have, I welcome them. And you can always come up and challenge the panel or challenge me. I promise, we don't bite. No, Saint, you're sitting up again.
Of course. I'm at home. I can sit up at home.
What are you sipping on? I got me an ice cream soda, ice cream float.
Well, we just cracked the open the what is it? Can't remember what, but anyway, some tequila we got from Mexico. I can't think of the brand. And is it Don Julio? I don't know. Anyway, I had a little sip of that. Tasted pretty good. But right now I'm just drinking some root beer.
Oh, okay, cool.
I don't want to get faded on the Black with Jen unless it's a special occasion.
Okay, all right.
Now you're gonna have to explain because I don't know if I'm privy to. I'm old. What is? I was looking at this shirt and I'm like, what does that mean?
The Young Lords Party is an activist. Hold on, I'm just getting okay. So Lily's not going to be on tonight, so we're giving her a whatchamacallit. Let's sign her absentee note. Lily won't be here tonight, okay? And it's okay because she puts in a lot of work, so she can take a day off. So the Young Lords Party is basically an activist group, right? Just like the Black Panther Party, but they were the Puerto Rican version.
Okay.
They were the Puerto Rican version. Yes, there was a Puerto Rican version. And it's interesting to me that there were so many Puerto Rican, right, activism groups in this country, all right, that raised hell, that went to jail for many, many years for defending, and a lot of people don't know. They just know the Black activists,
right.
Because that's what the media puts out. Black versus white or white versus Black is big money. So,
yeah.
That's why they don't talk about the Mexicans that were rebelling and the Puerto Ricans that were rebelling. I mean, but Puerto Ricans did hang the Puerto Rican flag on Statue of Liberty's forehead. Okay. That did happen. All right. You can Google the pictures. They went up there and they was like, oh, y'all want to play with us? And we extra, So Puerto Ricans climbed the Statue of Liberty and hung the Puerto Rican flag on her forehead. Okay. It is out there. It's documented. There's video and pictures of it. And then, the Puerto Rican activist Lolita Lebron ran up in the Capitol way before what happened on January 6th. Ran up in the Capitol. Some people got shot. She went to jail for a very, very long time. I think 25 years or so she went to jail. So there's a lot of Puerto Rican activism history in our country, but it doesn't get played. So I'm representing the night.
And so what is the health part about?
So this is what they were.
Okay, health, and then what does it say?
Health, food, housing, and education is what they were.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense now.
That's what they're fighting for, and they did run around with the AKs. You know what I mean? Just like the Black Panther Party. There's a lot of history. I get so shocked when people are like they don't know certain things. I'm like, what? It was.
Yeah. Well, I'm curious. Was that more like a? Obviously, there's a lot of Puerto Ricans in New York. Was that more in New York? Is where it was based. Like, well, obviously, Statue of Liberty.
Yes, New York based. No, that's a great question because people think that the activists were in Puerto Rico. They were in New York. That happened in New York, Chicago, and in DC, obviously.
That should, someone should take notice, and that would be a good movie. I mean, to put together, something that's not well documented as far as quote unquote mainstream, the average white American.
I guess they're waiting on me to blow up No Saint. Because there's so many Puerto Ricans that are in position to do that right now who have big bank. I mean, big bank. And they haven't done it. And I'm talking about New Yorkers like Mark Anthony and Jennifer Lopez. And I'm like, I guess they're waiting.
Yeah.
Guess they're waiting on me, right? It's crazy how many people haven't. There's such an opportunity and they have the network and the finances to do it and they haven't done it. I don't know why, but not everybody's an activist. Not everybody cares. Some people are entertainers and they're like, I want to make my money and I want to be rich and that's it and whatever.
See, I like hearing the other side of the story, right? I like hearing, I would be interested in seeing a movie like that. I mean, when Malcolm X came out, that was in the 90s. And that was a good movie. But I like hearing, you don't always. It's healthy to hear what somebody else's side of the story is, where you're not always just hearing one side. That's obviously that side's going to paint something in a different light. Right. Nobody likes talking bad about themselves. So, so it's always great to So that would be I wish somebody would make that a movie about that because I'm interested in that kind of stuff for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there are a couple of documentaries, but they don't cover them. They don't. I mean, if anybody's interested, there is a Young Lords Party documentary out. But it's very old. No one recently has really put some meat and taters on the story. It would be great to see. There's so many people that have the resources to do it, but they haven't done it. And right now it would be timely right now because everybody's into history and all that stuff. But yeah, Lolita Lebron is one of my heroes. She led 3 men, armed and dangerous, into the Capitol, and they lit that bitch up. She went to jail for 25 years, but she's still not. She's still a Puerto Rican icon to this day. So I got to get me
you got my interest sparked. I'm gonna have to look this stuff up and see what I can find on it.
Yeah, like Assata Shakur was really close to Lolita too.
Okay.
A lot of people don't know. They don't know. Yes, Donovan, hit that like button for me if you are watching. Tonight's gonna be a recap night. There are a lot of things going on. We can get your opinions on No Saint. A lot of good things. First and foremost, No Saint. Is there anything you want to go over for the past week? Now I'll start going with the stories.
Shush. Got a new little babysitting somebody else's little dog. I'm trying to think. Man, we went over a lot this week. I'm trying to remember if there was any things that I wanted to talk about. There was, but it might come to me later. Anyway, so yeah, let's just go over, and if something comes to mind, and I can add.
All right, so let's start with Lisa Marie Presley. Passed away this week. R.I.P. to Lisa Marie Presley. I had thought initially it was Priscilla Presley, the mom, and you corrected me, and I was like, all right, so it was Lisa Marie. So rest in peace to Lisa Marie Presley. There were rumors about it being because of drugs. She was suffering from drug addiction, and then some other people said it was cardiac arrest. I don't know. I guess we'll all be waiting bated breath on that autopsy. I don't know.
Yeah, so I saw some stuff earlier today. And yeah, if they're doing an autopsy, because they can't tell just from a cardiac arrest what it's from, they'll have to do an autopsy. I did see recent video in the last couple of days of her being interviewed for the biopic Elvis that was, I guess, got a Golden Globe or something. Mm-hmm. And yeah, she did not look good. There was a man she was with that, now this is all speculation. This part's not speculation, but we're all kind of speculating what it is, but she had to hold on to his arm. She said, I'm gonna grab you and hold on to stand herself up. Her speech was, slowed down. She also did the 88th birthday. Her dad's 88th birthday. She was at Graceland, and I mean, maybe that's how she was all the time. I mean, not all the time, but recently. But if you haven't seen her, you would sit there, and now that you have her under a microscope, you're like, ooh, maybe she was, having some issues. And then I guess with her son, she's never been the same since her son committed suicide. All this speculation about that. But yeah, certainly it'd be interesting to see what that autopsy shows.
Yeah, Code Red just said, thank you for this information, Code Red. Code Red just says she suffered 2 cardiac arrests. The second one killed her, according to TMZ. Family signed DNR. DNR is always so like, oh, you know what I mean? That DNR, boy, just hearing it is like, because I know my grandma had a DNR, and that is hard to sign. Okay, it's like, what do you mean? No, I'm gonna carry your carcass around, and we're gonna be together forever. It's hard. It's a very hard thing to do. So, you know what I mean? Condolences to the entire family. But you're right. She looked really bad. And I don't mean that she looked old, because we're all gonna look old, but she looked off, right? She looked like she wasn't moving well. She wasn't. So when you look back, you're like, oh yeah, your body was probably shutting down. I have a personal friend who's in the business. He passed away as well. And when you see him on TV for his last days, you can kind of see like your body is like dying. You just haven't caught up to it yet, right? But your body's like slowly. When we look back, we can see people like that. This is a crazy segue, but it's a segue nonetheless. Speaking of, you can't tell if someone died from just cardiac arrest. You need an autopsy. Let's welcome Haran DeMarco. What's up, Haran?
I came in at just the right time.
Oh, you did?
I'm a man. I'll keep telling you, man. I'm a man of entrance, man. I'm just,
Oh, you are, because this next story is a doozy. I guess it has to do with race. I don't know. I'm sure we could find a way to insert it in there by force. But it's an interesting story nonetheless. First of all, Haran DeMarco, do you not see me repping mi gente? Do you not see?
It's my
Okay.
Oh man.
Okay.
I knew all about them back in the days.
Okay.
That was not
Anybody
the kind of
know?
party you wanted to. That's not the kind of party you really wanted to go to. But great shirt.
Thank you. I was schooling no saint a minute
Yeah.
ago. I get up with history, okay?
Yeah.
So great segue. We would just talk about Lisa Marie and her cardiac arrest or whatever. Guess who else had a cardiac arrest? Now
Who?
know what is her name? Her name is Patrice Cullors. Patrice Cullors is famously known for being one of the founders of BLM, aka Black Lives Matter. She is one of the founders, and she's under a huge microscope. Thanks to Candace Owens, who I happen to be a fan of. I think Candace Owens is very entertaining. On the same level that Kevin Samuels was. Okay. Thunder Lightning. Every time you say that name, it was like he was like, but I really do think that Candace Owens was on the same level of entertainment as Kevin Samuels. She told it like it was, and a lot of people didn't like what she said, right? But either way, I think they were both entertaining. Anyway, back to Patrice Cullors, one of the members of Black Lives Matter was under a microscope because they stole a lot of money. Not enough the right word is stole, but Black Lives Matter collected millions and millions and millions of dollars, and it went into mansions and cars and lots of toys, right? So I don't know. Did they fuck people in the ass, or can you fuck someone in the ass who's giving you money voluntarily?
Well, when you're playing at that level, you don't steal anything anymore. You embezzle. Okay. There's a time when your crimes must be given an ethnic name and given a Caucasian reference. So they embezzled that money allegedly. Someone allegedly, you know what I mean? That happens when you're dealing with that kind of money.
That is so funny. No, it's funny because it's so true. Like you say one person's stealing, and when you get to a certain level, you're embezzling.
Exactly, you're an embezzler. You know what I mean?
It's reminiscent of Whitney Houston when she was like, "I don't do crack. Crack is."
Oh yeah, she was absolutely right. She said she got Barbara Walters together. She was like, "Honey, I make too much money to smoke crack."
Hello.
Listen, in the English language we speak today, there's a ton of different words that mean the same thing, right? So when it comes to food, because the French were ruling parts of England, the royalty, the lingua franca of the royals was French. We have snails and we have escargot. We have pork and we have swine. So
you're absolutely right.
We have stealing and we have embezzlement.
Must be nice.
We have escorts and we have prostitutes. You know what I'm saying?
Companions.
It's really funny though how we use different words to try to soften the blow. But
what's up, Juana Washington? Tonight we're doing the week's recap on the block with Jen, and also the stories that were in the news. We're recapping a lot of stuff, and we're inviting people to ask questions about anything that happened on the block with Jen or in the media or whatever. So why did I bring up Black Lives Matter founder Patrice Cullors? Because coincidentally, her cousin was allegedly, supposedly killed by the police.
Oh yes, I saw that.
Okay. Thank you for the super chat. Yes, she did say crack is whack. Crack is cheap.
Glad to see Joanna's back in there. I haven't seen her in a while.
Yeah, we haven't seen Joanna in a while. What I love about the block is just like I'm watching this show called Special Forces. It is fucking amazing, guys. Okay, I know a lot of people are not into reality shows, but that show is a motherfucker. Okay,
I have to start watching it.
Please start watching it, because they take all these celebrities, athletes, Olympians. They put them with these special forces guys who I'm sure are going easy on them. Okay,
of course.
A lot of them are just dropping off and quitting, but it's all a mental game. It is so fucking mental, and it really teaches you, like, about mental strength, and also calls you on your shit. Like, are you mentally strong? And it also co-signs some of your ideas of and things like that.
And we got to give on that. Hopefully Glenn will, if you ever do something, Glenn would be someone to talk to about that, because he went through a pretty strenuous training to be a pararescue person.
Yes.
I'm not sure how he would compare it to like the Navy SEALs and things like that, but it's still it's not easy what he did to get into pararescue. That's a pretty serious training. So
Glenn is great to have on a team. He could like save our lives and shit. We keep it. I will trade somebody out for Glenn. Don't play with me.
So do you know what pararescue? Do you have any idea what they even do? So
the guys that jump from the
yeah, but they jump into like, but what it says what it actually says what they do. They go in to rescue people in war zones. So they're jumping into like a bunch of maybe wounded people, and they're kind of like medics as well. So yeah, it's really
like when you watch like movies and you see certain scenes where you see soldiers jumping from the sky and saving people, and you think to yourself, that's just outrageous. That would never happen. No, it actually does happen. You know what I mean? And soldiers do jump from the skies, and
they volunteer to go into that program, but many of them don't ever make it out. I mean, you get washed out really fast if you're not cut out for it. They'll wash. I have to get this dog out of here. They'll wash you out. They'll know within a few weeks.
Boy, he probably wants attention. Okay, so Patrisse Cullors, her cousin Keenan Anderson, right? Here's the story. Long story short, got into a car accident, jumped out the car, was running around erratic, waved down the cops. The story is he waved down the cops. He's running around in the middle of the street. Cops roll up. The cops are like, what the fuck is this? Be cool, be cool. He's going all crazy. They throw him down to the ground. Nowadays it takes like 4, 5, 6 cops to hold one person down. I don't know who's not in the gym and who is, but I don't understand why it takes 4 or 5 different men to hold one man down.
Take some paratroopers.
Yeah, I don't know why it takes 4 or 5 different cops to hold a man down. But either way, the man is now dead. And here's the story. On the body cam of one of the police officers, you can see that he's tasing Keenan Anderson, Patrisse Cullors' cousin, repeatedly. And not only is he tasing him repeatedly, but he holds the taser on the guy's back while he's telling him, the gamut that stop resisting, stop moving around, and stop resisting and stop moving around. And he's just hitting him with that taser, boy. And he got the taser on there, and he keeps it on in and he takes it off. Hey, Brienne. So the man died 4 days later, cardiac arrest.
Mm-hmm.
Now here's the plot twist. He did have marijuana and cocaine in his system. So, everybody's revving up. They got their picket signs ready. They're ready.
Next question. Did he get the jab?
I'm going to ask that. I'd be at the protest. Like, did he take the jab, though?
I will ask this question, though. Like,
let's talk about it.
When it comes to the weed these days, man, this shit is some other shit, man. Like what was the THC level in that weed? That he was taking. Was it like 80%, 90%? Plus you're mixing that with like cocaine and all that shit. That dude probably didn't even know where he was, literally, in that moment, So they're saying he had all these things in the system, but I would like to question the potency of these.
And I'd like to say that I'm not sure about the weed, but the cocaine could definitely put stress on your heart. But when did he do it? Would be my question. Like, it could be in your system. He might have done it. Like, cocaine, allegedly, somebody told me this, gets out of your system pretty fast. Like,
yes, it does. Allegedly.
Yeah. but money. Marijuana.
So here's the thing. So let me add to it a little bit. Let me add to a little bit before we dissect. So while he was on the ground and the police saw, welcome, Juana Washington. We haven't seen you in a while. No Saint has missed you famously. Okay. He's always asking, where's Juana? Where's Juana? There she is, live and in the flesh, honey.
And this is why I stay away, so people can miss you.
There you go.
Smart. Very smart.
Awesome.
Every now and then we're like, hey, we haven't seen Juana in a while. What's going on? Remember one time, Haran, I was like, I'm gonna shoot her an email just to make sure everybody's good, because life is funny.
Thank you.
Yeah, I was like, let me
Thank
shoot.
you, because I have been, and I'm not just trying to be contrary. I have been extremely busy trying to keep my life going.
Wonderful.
Um, and nobody's going to do it for me. You
Correct.
know, my
No.
75-year-old father's not going to do it for me. My 72-year-old mother's not going to do it for me. The sorority is not going to do it for me. The state is not going to do it for me. Yeah, they'll house me, but what kind of life is that? And so I was running into some issues that require more of my time, and then I started feeling a little guilty about the time that I spend on here. I want to make it count, right?
Mhm.
Like you do, Jen. You love us, you love what you do, but you do it, for a purpose, for a reason, and and it's okay for it to be profit too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I got to feeling like I spend too much time on here without getting paid
Amen.
now. And so my goal is to spend some time away so I can prepare content, because I want to get on here, but I don't know what I'm going to talk about. So I'm writing.
Okay.
I'm spending extra time writing, building up a content, not just coming on there talking willy nilly. It might be another year before I'm ready, but I do know I spend way too much time for free
Okay.
on here. I don't mind supporting with my, finances, but the hours, it's been very difficult for me
Right. So on
to,
that note, quick, because I want to get back to the story, but really quick, that's very true, Joanna. That's why I stress to my panelists, start your own page and we can cross promote. I'm telling everybody because this is the future. This isn't going to be a side gig anymore. This is going to be the gig. This is where we're headed. If we go into another pandemic, we didn't see the first one coming. If we go into another one, everybody who has a job that's outside the home is going to be stuck without a job. And you can come on here and people are going to be looking for content again. And my biggest advice is just start. Just start. Even if it's just you, one light bulb, and you're talking about what happened on the news yesterday, just start so you can start getting people to come to watch you and start getting people in the room so they're used to seeing you. So just start. Don't overthink it. Don't think I don't have the mic. Let me tell you something, Joanna. I got all these subscribers. I don't have a state-of-the-art microphone. I don't have a state-of-the-art camera. People are like, you're not going to get a XV525. No, I'm right here on my little old Mac laptop and everybody's here, right? So you have to just start where you are is my advice for anybody watching. Just start. This shit is the future. So at least have that on the burner. Have your main things.
You're right. It's like having a phone number. Before, everybody didn't have a phone in their home. Everybody didn't have a TV. It was only a matter of time where it's going to be, like you said.
Yep.
This is the future.
That's
This is not even going to be an issue in 20 years. Everybody is going to be doing this.
Everybody have to start now because 3 years. Listen, I'm mad I didn't start 3 years ago. Okay, people that started 3 years ago have like 100,000 subscribers, but I'm catching up, right? All they got on me is some time difference. No, Saint, you wanted to say something?
Yeah. I was just gonna say I don't look at it. I mean, I certainly listen. I have in the next year or so. I don't know. Maybe I will get a mic and maybe I will get a green screen and everything. But I never see and this is just me, Joanna. I never see coming on here. First of all, I enjoy it, right? I enjoy it. But not just that. You've got to start somewhere, and to be able to communicate with people from all different places, have different opinions, is a skill acquired as well. So to me, this is like an internship, if anything else. If I do decide to do something, I will have that practice of interacting with people with different, and it sharpens your mind, really, in my opinion.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And let's be real. Some people like the entertainment of YouTube. They don't give a damn about a channel. The second thing is, no, Saint, you're right. I make it look easy, but you have to understand I'm on here and I do a hour monologue every single night without writing. I make it look easy, but you have to think. You have to stand in front of your camera and speak for half hour straight or hour straight. That's something Jimmy Fallon does. That's something Jimmy Kimmel does. And they don't even do it for an hour straight, but they have to address the audience in the beginning. And it is a skill. You get better and better and better, but it's not easy.
No doubt.
It's not easy. Half an hour straight, and you're talking, and I have to keep people's attention. So salute
And
to
coming up with content.
Yeah. So salute to everybody that's been doing it for many, many years. This is work though. And
I'm going to let you know, that doesn't go as far as when I look at it on deaf ears, because I notice, I think, man, she doesn't mind. I know that, you know, I've seen people, I know, and I've tried. This is back when YouTube first started. You know, I was doing videos and stuff, and when you have never done it and you don't have that flow, and you look at those videos and it doesn't go well. It just does. It's a bunch of so I mean, I certainly recognize when I see people get up and do it. Like, yeah, that's she's had some practice.
It's a talent.
I love it.
Yeah.
Even Haran could vouch. Haran was like, yo, that shit's work. Like, you got to cam up and stay on. That's what I'm saying. It's easy behind the avatar. It is cake behind the avatar. Behind the avatar, you could be like this. You could look like whatever you want to look like.
Yeah, I know. That's what I was doing before I actually camped up. She told my ass. She told my ass, damn near threatened me to motherfucking turn the fucking camera on.
I was like, let's go, Haran. Let's go. I mean, and you know, that strength in numbers and all of that, what have you. But some people just like, you know, this is the new TV. This is new TV. And TV did that to itself because TV got boring and redundant. We're watching the same shows be reinvented over and over and over again. TV got boring. It got boring. Everybody.
But I give Jen her props though, because there'll be some days where she doesn't say it, but there'll be some days where she's tired, but then she'll go up and then I'll catch the stream live and she is just on 100. I'm just like, Jesus Christ, did she do a couple of bumps before she got on here? And it's just like the amount of energy that she has, you know what I mean? It takes a lot to actually tap into that. But as a performer, I understand.
Right.
You know what I mean? I can relate to that. Because it's like you have to find something there to like really push that adrenaline out to really get the performance that you need.
People don't know. I lay in the dark for like maybe 15, 20 minutes before I cam up. Like total dark, total silence, right? So if you
meditation.
Yeah, a couple of people have called me like right before the show and they're like, aren't you going on in 20 minutes? Like you're not even dressed. I'm like, I have to be in the dark and in the quiet. I'll be on. When I'm on, I'm on. But when I'm off, I'm off. So you just have to find a way. Every artist has their way. You know what I mean? They have their thing that they do before and after. I don't do bumps. I do darkness.
It's good to know.
I do darkness. So getting back to this juicy story, because this story right now is simmering. It's simmering. It hasn't bubbled over, but it's simmering. Like I said, people right now, they're doing their picket signs. I guarantee it. Everybody's gearing up. Okay, they got the Black Lives Matter t-shirt out the hamper, dusted it off, throwing it back on. They ready, right? They ready to go. So Keenan Anderson died 4 days after the taser incident with the police officers, had cocaine and marijuana in his system. No Saint, you posed a great question. How long ago was it that he did that cocaine, right? Now, if you watch the video, he is very ruffled. He's erratic. He's stumbling his words. He's yelling. He's literally said, "Don't George Floyd me." They're trying to George Floyd me. Okay? That is what he's yelling. He's telling people, get off of him. He's, resisting arrest, not complying, right? I thought it was excessive. I understand tasing him to calm him down or whatever, to get him to sit still, but I didn't get like the on his back, like that. I mean, he had the taser on his back like it was one of the massage machines. I'm like, take it off, take the fucking taser off. You're gonna kill this guy. But he gets up, they arrest him, blah blah blah, whoop de whoop. And he dies 4 days later. So my question would be: now, people are mad, of course. People are mad, but I need the autopsy. Sorry, I'm not going to be in my feelings. I don't care if he was Puerto Rican. I don't care if he was black. I don't care if he was black. I don't care if he was yellow. I need the autopsy. That is what I need. I think by now we know how the media fucking works, right? Therefore, I need the autopsy. How long ago was that cocaine? Did he have, heart issues before that happened? Did he have a bad heart already? Did he get the vaccine? You know what I mean? There's some questions. I got questions.
You asking too many questions.
Questions. That's all I'm saying.
If you're acting wrong and crazy, fuck around and find out. How about that? Cash me outside. How about that?
Block or not necessarily.
I'm gonna full disclosure here, and if people deserve it. Now you're saying, I wonder if it was you're saying the officer put it to the back. I wonder, was he a stun gun or a taser? Because the taser's the one they shoot.
Oh no, I'm sorry. It was a stun gun.
Okay.
Sorry.
That's up close and personal. But I'm not gonna lie. When I see people acting up on video and they get tased, I love it. It makes me laugh so hard.
I don't see a problem. I don't understand the issue. I really don't.
They get like a mannequin. Oh, and I'm like, ooh, timber, you know. But that being said, that being said, I don't want to see anybody die over it.
No one wants to see anybody die.
Yeah.
We
No comment. No comment.
Oh my God. Opinions are not necessarily the opinions of the host or the other panel members. Thank you. Welcome to On the Block with Jen. So here's the thing. Here's what I said about Patrisse Cullors. And rest in peace to that man, and condolences to his family. It goes without saying. But Patrisse Cullors, here's the first thing I said. I said, well, honey, you definitely got the money to protest now, don't you? You got the money for the lawyer. Mm-hmm. You got the money for the court case. You got the money to show up. You got the money to show up in your little Calvin Klein fitted suit and talk to the press. You got the money, honey. You got all the money. So you got the money to do it. So Patrisse Cullors has vowed that this will not go, okay, without the correct amount of justice. She's going to find out what happened to her cousin. Black Lives Matter all over again. And she is on it. She is on it. So what do you guys think about it? What do you think?
I saw a snippet of the video, and if he wasn't, now I'm questioning how coherent he was, how sober he was, because while he was on the ground, I was just saying to myself, like, yo, just chill out, man. You know what I mean? Just chill the fuck out. But now I understand that he was under the influence of something, which, here's the thing, if you're under the influence of something, you're just essentially giving the cops their case. I mean, you're going to be in this court of law, you're going to sit down, you can discuss it all you want, but they can constantly say that this guy was on this amount of substances, this is how potent it was, and the police were in fear of their lives. And then the jury is like, oh yeah, that does make sense. You know what I mean? These are one of the reasons why when you're in these situations, you want to be as clean as possible, especially when you are of a particular race. You know what I mean? Because, yeah, certain things will be used against you. Certain things will come up, blah, 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 so on and so forth. But again, you know, these things are never considered because it's always the victimhood that we have to cling to. And if you don't cling to the victimhood, then you're not on code. And if you ask any questions as a Black person, like, hey, man, you're not on code, you're a coon. And it's just like, no, I just want to know,
right.
I just want a better understanding of what happened.
I just want to know what you did, how you fucked up.
I just want to know, like, hey, did he have, this amount of potency in his system? You know, how many cops were there? Why did your goddamn cousin steal all that money? You know what I mean? The important stuff. You know what I mean? The important questions, things like that. And I have that right to ask those questions.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't make me a coon.
Yeah, exactly. And see, some Black people, and I don't like saying Black people, I prefer to say Negroes. Some Negroes feel like because of slavery, they can act a fool. They can act a fool regardless, run up and down the street naked, curse out people, endanger their lives and others. Well, y'all did this in slavery. They can loot stores. They can do whatever. Oh, white man stole the whole country. Why are you worrying about this TV? Stupid mess. I have no, of course I have, you know, I value life because life is precious. It's from the Creator. You know, it's from the Creator. But because it's from the Creator, but also because it's from the Creator, it's not mine. It's not yours. It's the Creator. So it can go back without me having any remorse. You know, and without any remorse, you go back to your Creator, because there you will be safe and you won't have to deal with running up and down the street. You know, somebody. Did you see the video, Haran Snow Saint?
I saw an excerpt of it. I saw an excerpt.
No, I
of it.
didn't see it.
See the whole video.
I saw
If
that.
you watch the video, he's resisting arrest. He's resisting arrest. Okay, he might have been resisting arrest because he was, you know, coming off cocaine or whatever.
Right.
But regardless, resisting arrest is a crime. It's a crime.
Okay,
They can get you just, yeah, they can get you just for that. So, you know, everything after that, after you do wrong, you don't really have anything to say. So rest in peace to him. I have no, like, you know, struggle remorse over it at all.
So I do want to add too, he is a school teacher, and Patrice Cullors, Black Lives Matter founder, is her, I don't know if the right word is excuse, but she's saying that maybe, you know, I mean, her cousin just had got into a car accident, and when you're in a car accident, you're kind of like in shock, and that may have led to his erratic behavior.
I don't know.
Now, Mr. FD, Mr. Fire Department, you know more than us. What is the average act of people after a car accident? I was in a car accident. That I wasn't erratic, but I'm, you know.
Yeah, I mean, it really just depends on how serious the accident is. I mean, I had someone run in the back of me, and I know I probably had a minor concussion because the way I felt afterward, but it didn't make me act erratic. I just remember, like, you just have this feeling, and I'm like, ooh, I knew. I was like, I think I got a minor concussion, you know. But no, I mean, as far as like acting up like that, I haven't, in my experience, seen anybody acting erratic, you know, unless there was some kind of death, you know. That's a different story. Like if someone died, you know, then yeah, you know, you're gonna see them acting.
That doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any sense at all. Like if we take a car crash and the person is in the middle of a car crash, that is synonymous with just a motherfucker getting knocked the fuck out. Jen, how many motherfuckers we've seen get knocked the fuck out? Did they get up erratic? Did they appear erratic? No, they got up like, you know what I mean? Like
right. more days.
Right. They, you know, knees shaking. They don't know where the fuck they are.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's not
more
no,
like
if it's
someone who's serious, like if they were
right. That's not someone who's experienced a serious degree of head trauma.
Well, you know, but that's I will say this
on something.
I don't think this was the situation. I haven't seen the video, but I doubt it would happen like this. Like if he was knocked out and the police came up on him and he's coming out and he sees all kinds of lights, like I mean, he might act erratic. You know, you're coming out, you don't know where the hell you are. But I don't think, as far as what your guys are saying, I don't think.
I didn't know he was allegedly under the influence of something. I thought he had a mental defect. I thought maybe that was the case because he was behaving like a person who had some sort of, you know, I mean, issues going on. So I was like, oh, maybe that might be the case, and maybe that's a solid case that they can use. You know, that
outside of how he was acting during the arrest, regular schmegular guy, school teacher or whatever, which I think tells me that the cocaine use must have been recent, probably led to the car crash, just like Anne Heche. Anne Heche had a truckload of cocaine in her when she, you know, crashed into that house and burnt her up and burnt the, you know what I mean? So I'm thinking it's that maybe.
You guys, y'all giving cocaine a bad name.
I mean, I'm just saying though, this was probably not the cocaine from the 80s now.
Yeah,
but the shit they was handing out in Studio 54. This is probably some shit out here. You know, they mixing shit with fentanyl, all kinds of shit.
Yeah.
So I don't know what he could have been on. You know what I mean?
Or the mixture of both too, like you said, the potency of the marijuana and the
right. Exactly. I don't know what's going on. I tried, like I told y'all, man. I went out to LA a couple of years ago they gave me something called King Louis. Man, I couldn't feel a thing. I told my girl, I was like, yo, man, they gave me some shit called King Louis out here. She was like, yeah, they give that shit to MS patients. I said, what? I was like, oh, they give this shit to MS patients? I'm
So
used to some shit, you know what I mean? You smoke it, you feel good.
I want to comment though on this whole Black Lives Matter. And I saw a little bit of the documentary where Candace goes to her house. First of all, you know that's making a lot of money because that's probably just a skim off the top of
Oh,
what
yeah, I
they're
forgot
bringing
she
in.
went to her house.
Yeah, it's a skim off the top of what actually is being brought in, you know. But
of
what I
course.
want to say is when it comes to this is what I don't like about today with public opinion and the media, but all sides of the media playing public opinion, is the fact that you have like before there's a trial, before you see any witnesses, any facts, there's people on this side that already made up their mind. There's people on this side that, you know, both sides already made up their mind. And then like these groups, you know, are marching and no justice, no peace. What they really mean is if it doesn't go my way, we're going to tear shit up. And, you know, that's what it really means. Like, and I just don't like that. I don't like, I don't like that pressure put on, you know, put on the jury or whomever that, you know, this better come out the way we want it to come out or we don't see it as justice.
Do you think that that happens though? Because so many times cops have walked away scot-free after.
I agree. That's I totally am aware of that as well. That's why it's kind of hard to be it's not hard. I shouldn't say it's hard. I can understand. I would say I can understand when you have, you know, the people like it's say in the Trayvon Martin case, or you know, or let's even go further back in the 90s, 92, when you had the cops walk away from the Rodney King beating, which I wasn't there for every fact, but you know, we kind of saw what happened, and it was very excessive, and somebody should have gone to jail over that. So yeah, I get what you're saying, but at the same time, you know, to sit there and say, and I'm not saying one side. I mean, there's like with the January 6th hoodlums that went into the Capitol, there are people wanting them to get off. So I'm talking about both sides. Like if it doesn't come out our way, somehow it's fixed. And that's just not necessarily the truth in all cases.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so segue. How are you, Damien?
Hey, what's up, y'all?
What's up? It's safe
What's
tonight.
up?
We ain't talking about nothing
Hey,
that's gonna be.
Oh yeah, we are. I just haven't gotten started.
Oh, okay. So let me continue. Welena Lee says police are extremely patient and respectful of Caucasian civilians, period. And also, speaking of the mental illness, Patrice Cullors and her camper saying that Keenan Anderson was the one that flagged down the police in the first place, right? And then he was treated as the criminal, as most Black men are. Cullors and Abdullah both said concerns about Anderson's mental state should have been handled by trained mental health professionals, not an armed traffic cop. Is that realistic? If someone is acting erratic in the middle of the street, whether they can hurt themselves or someone else, should the cop say, wait a minute, let him go off, let's get some mental health professionals here? Is that realistic? Should that be standard? Is that something that should be implemented in police work?
Ain't nobody got no time for that.
they got a duty to act. Police officers have a duty to act, so they can't, and they got to look at the greater good. Like if we let him go and do his thing, is the potential of somebody get hurt, then the liability is just way too high for them to not subdue him. The degree in which they subdue him, I think that's where all the can be subjective, and that's where all the shit can go wrong is what you use to subdue somebody. Because I think that needs to be retrained, how the effective takedown and submission procedures need to be revamped and taken a look at.
Okay, it says he was an English teacher. I mean, there are pictures of him in his class. He looks like a regular guy. Of course, you could be a regular guy, and once that cocaine hits, turn into a whole different person.
Ted Bundy looked like
Hulk.
Dame, did you see the video of it? What's up, Don Levon? Dame, did you see the video of the taser? Not the taser. What was it? No Saint?
No, you said stun gun.
The stun gun, right? Did you see the video of this? You saw the stun gun video.
Yeah, I saw a clip of it. I didn't see the whole situation with the guy from which guy we talking about? The guy who got into an accident in Flat. Who? Okay, yeah. I saw it.
And you know that's Patrice Cullors' cousin.
Oh, word. Oh, wow. Oh, from Black Lives Matter.
Yeah.
Do we have a name?
A name of who?
Do we have the name of the gentleman?
Keenan Anderson, English teacher. Yeah, so Patrice Cullors is all over it. So I was joking earlier that I'm like they're making their picket signs right now for the situation because they're saying it was excessive force. I saw the video. I thought it was I thought the stun gun. I thought it was a bit much. I didn't understand. He's already on the floor. Lots of people are hard to arrest. And I think that the police should be better equipped to handle people that are erratic. I will say that.
I just want to note something. I do understand what that person was saying in terms of cops are a lot more patient with the Dwights. You know what I mean, when dealing with situations. But I recall there was a time when you can look this up on YouTube. There was this, I believe there was this doctor, and he was acting up at the airport, United Airlines, and police. Yeah, they pretty much brought it to him. His name, strangely enough, was Jeffrey Epstein, and as he was on the ground getting basically mollywopped by the cops, he demanded that they not treat him like a black person.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah,
I remember that. I remember that.
I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
But at least he knows what time it is.
Let me play the devil's advocate, the devil's advocate here a little bit. First of all, I'm pretty sure statistically these things happen to black people more than white people. But there are an awful lot of white people that get messed up too by the police, and it just doesn't get played over and over on the news. I just think it's not going to sell. It's not going to sell.
Who is this man? Who is this man going by No Saint? Who is this? It's a new year, 2023. What is coming out of his mouth? I'm not understanding this bleeding liberal heart white man. No. Black people don't do nothing wrong. It's all white people. I prefer black people than white people. Man, who is this?
I
will say this. Here's the plot twist, guys. The cops were of color.
Were what?
The cops were of color.
Of color.
Yes. Black, brown, however you want to say it.
That is a little twist.
Black people kill black people all the time.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, we're talking about cops. We're not talking about black people.
Exactly.
We're not talking about hood. We're talking about cops.
That's the problem. That's the problem.
So we're talking about cops. Let's stick to the subject. Let's stay to the subject.
No,
Let's talk about
wait
cops
a minute. Don't
killing
tell me what
people.
to stick to. Wait a minute. Hold on. You got
I'm
your hand
asking,
up.
can we stick to the
See,
subject?
this is why we don't need to see each other. He's got his hand up in my face and telling me what to say. Telling me what not to say.
Doing the damn thing.
Hands down. Damien, put the hands down.
And don't tell me what not to say. Only Jen can tell me what not to say. You don't tell me what not to say.
I could actually say whatever I want. You just don't have to do it.
Let's explore.
Okay, say something. All right, say it again.
I can say whatever I want. You just don't have to do it.
Say it again.
I think you heard me.
No, repeat it.
Right.
With your chest.
I said it twice. If you got a sugar daddy in your ear, you need to get out with a Q-tip. Do it. I said it. They heard it.
Repeat it.
Okay, so moving on because we heard him. Do you have a response, Joanna?
What did he say? I'm really wanting to know. What did he say? Repeat it.
God damn, the goddamn camera shaking and all that. The camera angle.
He said he can say what he wants. You just don't have to listen to it.
No, before that, why I responded that way. He was telling me what not to say. He said
Well,
something. Y'all,
He
we
was
missed
saying
it.
about that. He was saying we were
I
talking
said,
about
let's
the
keep it on the topic at hand. We were talking about police officers. We were talking about a specific topic,
Yeah.
and then we went and started to veer off. And I said, can we keep it on the topic that we were talking about?
And I'm not talking about it
You said black people kill black people all the time, and then you said you started to go into another.
because they said the
Oh, my
cops
hands!
were of
Sorry
color.
if my hands are in your face. If you feel like threatened by me,
The cops were
probably
of color, correct?
2,000 miles away from you on the screen, putting my hands up because I speak with my
The,
hands.
the,
Very
the cops
think-
were the cops were of color, correct? Didn't she say that?
Yes.
So that's black on black crime.
no, that's
No,
No,
police
it's not. That's
crime.
police. That's the police.
And to be honest, you're probably 700 miles away.
Yeah,
Mm. I'm not gonna die on this hill, but you know, I support law enforcement, and you all know that. But it's not hard for black people to kill black people at all. And to know Saint's point about how many, you're not sure how many white people, if white people do, you know, as much crime or
cops.
whatever.
With cops.
Yeah,
talking about
here in Arkansas, white people get done bad by white cops. Mm-hmm.
No,
They
that's just
shooting
white on white
teenagers.
violence. That's just on
they
white on
shoot-
white violence, man. That ain't cops. That's white on white violence. White people kill each
Oh,
other.
now they're not cops.
Mm-hmm.
That's white on white
Mhm.
violence, even though they're
White on
cops.
white violence, man.
You see how that works?
Yes. Yeah. See how that works? You see how that works?
hey, can I just say something real
Man,
quick? I want to
White
say,
cops. Hold on, Dane. Hold on, Dane.
Okay.
Here in Arkansas,
Okay.
white cops gunned down white teenagers. Go ahead.
no, it's something totally unrelated. I just wanted to say thank you to Don Harden. I appreciate it. And I just wanted to give a shout out to Code Red. He did a real classy mea culpa in the comment section regarding the situation that happened a few days ago. And I just want to say it was super classy. And I appreciate you doing that, brother. A lot of people would have had their pride getting in the way of making things right. You didn't. So much love and shout out to you, brother.
What you
If
talking
your brother,
about? Or here?
no, he did it on the comments. Like he put it in the comments, and he did one to me and to Haran. He did like a mea culpa in the comments, and I just wanted to call him out because, like I said, a lot of people are too prideful to admit when they might have been wrong, and he's a standard. He's a classy dude for that.
Well, I didn't read it, so you know what I mean.
I think
If that's what happened, then hey, thanks. You know what I mean. I got used to last week of everybody saying I wasn't shit. So you know,
Last week was a rough week for Haran, boy.
it was a rough week for me.
Haran had a rough week on the block. It happens. It happens. It happens.
Yeah, I was checking in just a little bit here and there and saw Annalicia going in on Haran, going in on Dame. I think she even went in on No Saint.
No, she went
Oh,
on.
man,
She didn't go in on me
you love-
specifically. She didn't call
Oh
me
yeah,
out.
I was there. She called you a coward.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I was there.
She called me a coward.
I was
No, she
there.
didn't.
See,
She
you
was-
do
we know
this.
what we-
You do
we had it
this.
back and forth.
You do. You know what you do, Dame, with
What do
your
I do?
gorgeous teeth. You say I don't say stuff, and so then I go into Jen's archive
Mhm.
and I go through the 5 hours to find what was.
Wait.
Wait, Dave does
Hold
have
on,
some
wait.
nice teeth. Dave got some nice teeth. Hold on now.
I got a crooked tooth from when I didn't get braces in time. I mean, come on, my teeth are they just big.
You look like my cousin. You look like my cousin who plays for the Warriors.
Which cousin is that?
But anyway, you do this where you say you didn't say something, then I go through Jen's archives, which is a researcher's serious task because they're 5-hour
I know,
streams.
that seems to be very
And it's very difficult. It's very difficult. But like one time when you said you didn't say something, I went and found it, and of course the stream is gone. So I go back to that stream and then I type in at the mark what you said and what you said. Now Annalicia came on this show.
Mhm.
I don't remember what y'all was talking about. Everybody was talking. It was pandemonium. Oh, she called you a coward. I don't think you
she did.
deserved it. Does that make you feel better? You didn't deserve it. And I thought it was kind of.
It must have went over my head.
I wouldn't have said it. You've never heard me call you out of your name. I know you think I don't like
you. It went over my head.
If I don't like you, I will forget Jesus and I will call you something. If I've never called you anything other than your name, I like you, but I'm having a healthy debate. But she called you a coward, and if you want me to, I will go and find it and I will type it in.
The thing is, hold on. It doesn't matter.
You're right. It doesn't matter.
She sounds like Charlie Brown's teacher after a while.
But it really goes on when you deny it. It really goes further than necessary when you say that didn't happen when it did.
Well, if it happened, I didn't.
Just like Haran put his hand up to the camera like he was gonna grab her throat, and I thought that was so funny. I'm like, dude, do you know you just on camera, and technically none of us are really real to you, you know, unless we have a meetup.
Joanna was lurking this week.
I catch about 20 minutes before I go to bed. Because I understand the time difference. I'm in Central and you way over in Mountain. And so you probably starting what, 5? You probably starting like 5 or 6 o'clock.
She's in Pacific.
Your time, Jen.
Yes.
And then when it gets 10 o'clock, it's 2 o'clock for us. So, you know, it's rough on me. But yeah, I remember Haran, and I was shocked, Haran. Not that I can't say I wouldn't have done the same, but you put your hand up towards the camera like you was gonna grab Annalisa's throat.
Okay.
Well, we're talking about past, you know, shows. I think that's what the title of this show is.
No, I hear you.
We are.
I would like to say this though. Between the two of us, Dame is the diplomatic one. That we need to make that clear. You know, here.
I don't know. I would have had to left the show if somebody called me a coward. I would have to get off the show. But he kept that beautiful smile, and he laughed it off like men should. Never take women seriously. You know.
Take women seriously.
Wait.
No.
This smile.
No, never. Don't ever take women seriously. Which you did.
I got a daughter and a wife and a mom.
You know, my father, when I was 6 years old, Damon, I used to complain to my dad. I said, I'm bored. You know what he'd say? Sounds like a personal problem.
I say the same thing.
Even then.
What you gonna do about it?
Ask a question. Why were you shocked that I behaved in that manner?
Oh, because I've been watching you for a little over a year now, and I hardly ever see you come off your square.
No, I had to. I had to come out. I had to come up out of my chair to let somebody know what it is and what.
Off your square.
No, I came up out my chair to let somebody know what it is and what it isn't. You see, I never had to do that. So now you were introduced to a particular dimension of me. See, I moved the way that I moved. I set the rules here. That's my square. My square is not created to make you feel better or you feel comfortable.
Exactly.
So how I move is how I move because I motherfucking pay the lights in this motherfucker. So it is what it is. So
hey,
that's what happened. I came up out my chair. I didn't come up out my square. I came up out my chair. and sometimes that has to happen in life. So again,
yes.
I understand.
Yes. Sometimes I will have to lay some hands, and it's not always Christian hands.
There you go.
Know.
Like these hands is rated E for everybody. Everybody can get it.
No.
But I do
nice,
try.
Man. That's what I tell people. Let's all play nice, man.
And you know what?
But I
gotta say, let me say something, Javon, to you. Even we've disagreed on a million points. We went back and forth, but I can say you do proceed with class, grace, and consideration. You are very respectful. So I enjoy any conversation I get to have with you. Don't ever think Damien is not a Joanna fan, because I am a Joanna fan. So I appreciate debate. Even if I get passionate, like I said, like Farrakhan said to Mike Wallace, "Don't trip. That's just my passion talking." You know.
Exactly,
So if I ever get like heavy metal,
I appreciate
So,
that. I appreciate that sentiment, and I will.
I enjoy being on the panel.
Return it. I enjoy it with you as well, and I want to return that to you as well by saying that I'm very mindful of my words because I was raised by a single so-called Black man. No woman involved. No woman involved through puberty and all that entails, if you can imagine, for a girl. And he taught me to be respectful. And if you look up the word respect, and no saying, don't go correcting me. No saying, are you there?
I'm here.
Okay, give me some grace.
Okay.
I respect people. My father made that more important, even more than love. To respect means to go back and look or see again, to re-see. And I want to let you all know, especially you, particularly Damien, because we do enjoy going back and forth with each other, that I see you.
Okay, so let's see our way back to the topics. Thank you, Joanna.
She's like, in this love fest.
Yeah.
Let's get back to the topic.
If anybody has anything else to say about Annalicia, if not, we'll move on. By the way, she's more than welcome back to discuss. I'm not a fan of, sometimes it's necessary, but I'm not a fan of talking about people without them being in the room. So if she ever wants to come back and address, it was necessary that one night, but because it was happening in real time. But I don't want people. What happens on YouTube is a lot of people lurking. They're agents of chaos, and they like the back and forth. I am not Annalicia's enemy. She's more than welcome to come back on the panel, and we can discuss her behavior and the problem that we have with her behavior. But I don't hate Annalicia. Lovely woman, smart. I just think it was too much work for me, and I try to do what's for the greater good. And it was too much work for me to constantly reel her back in. I just got tired of reeling her back in. I thought it became unfair. I thought she became abusive to people that she had never had an interaction with automatically mammies and gay and remedial. I thought that was too much. But she's more than welcome to come on up and discuss it. She's more than welcome to hit me privately and discuss it. I do not hate her. I just don't like what she did. So if we can move on.
And I'd say ditto to all that.
Okay.
I will say one thing though. I just want to say one thing. We all have a degree of age and intellect and so on to just have just a fair and decent, discourse, and just be cognizant of boundaries. Yes, sometimes things get heated. Sometimes, people get passionate and so on and so forth. But that's just not a green light for you to just be incredibly abusive. I'm not abusive to anyone. I don't believe in calling people out of their names and so on and so forth. I just bite you if you bite me. That's what I believe in. It's a New York ethos. But, again, I too feel that Joanna is necessary for the panel. I was asking Jen where she was. I did miss her presence and so on, even though her perspectives at times borders on, dare I say, coonery. But that's another it's another topic entirely. You don't have to get into that right now.
You just had to do.
No, she's a good sister. She's an intelligent sister.
And I'm so grateful I was raised by a man.
Yes.
Because if you had said that to any other woman, she would go all Jen on you. You seen Jen.
I see now I'm catching. Now I'm caught in the cross. Now I'm caught in the cross.
I'm not gonna go all Jen on you guys.
Now I'm catching.
Okay. Because I got a lot of. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Jen.
No, I said I could take it. My whole life is a bulletproof vest. Go ahead, Joanna. Go ahead.
I can take it too. I can take it. My grandmother was harder on me and said worse things.
Absolutely.
No saying knows about how they treated us.
You're a great woman, though. You're a great woman. I respect your ideas, respect your perspective, and so on and so forth. And there it goes. But
I
can still have
appreciate
issues with
I'll
everything.
say
I can still
this,
have issues with everything.
I'm not, there's a cute meme every year to define the year. And I saw a meme that said, no more matching energy. We're about, no, bitch, I match energy and I do it well. It's another skill I have. Okay, you come to me sweet,
Yo,
I'm gonna come back with the sugar. You come to me with the fangs out, I'm Wolverine in this bitch. Like,
And see, that's where you and I part ways. When
That's
people get crazy, cause see, when it gets crazy, I'm almost like a dude. There's only one other level. So when it gets crazy, I have to leave. I'm not gonna match energies because I can match it. But just because you can do something doesn't always mean you should do something. Just because I can curse you out and don't even know you and probably wouldn't say it to your face doesn't mean I should on the internet. I try to, reel myself in because, the mouth can get you in trouble. The mouth can get you in trouble.
I agree. And the world is full of diverse, beautiful people. I'm just the one that's going to match your energy. And I'm very comfortable with that. Like extremely comfortable. Like really, really comfortable there. I'm like freaking Bane. Like you just, you run around in the dark. I was born in this shit, molded by it. So if you want to come in the dark with me, it's gonna be some problems. But the reason why I am so hard on certain people is because I feel this is my channel and I feel responsible for a lot of people. So I'm not going to accommodate the one that's, going off and making everybody else feel bad, right? If everybody else was going off on her, I'd say the same thing to whoever it was. If it was Haran being a problem on it's going to be the same thing. And once I start feeling responsible for people, I'm a buck up if you acting a damn fool.
You've called me out and I never even called anybody any names, but just because I just wouldn't shut up. And that's okay. My father had to tell me to shut up too. I like to talk.
Okay, well, see, creative mind gets it. Jen has a lot of tempers. That says a lot if she has to go off on your energy. Just saying, it's true. I'm like, I'm the nicest person in the world. I'm the nicest person in the world. Okay, I'll give you the shirt off my back. I'll also strangle you with my shirt.
I believe that. I believe that. I believe it. People that go hard like Jen, people that go hard in the paint like Jen will give you their shoes off their feet that they just stomped you in the face with.
Yes. Like I'll be like, all right, you needed that stomp in the face, but you ain't got no shoes, so I'm gonna hook you up. So going back to these stories that have been popping up, you guys are familiar with the story TJ Holmes and Amy Robach, right? Remember they got fired from Good Morning America for fucking around. They were married, blah, blah.
Oh, were they fired?
Yeah.
I just thought they got sent home for a couple of weeks.
Right. That's how the story was. Like, we'll just sit them down for a little bit. We'll turn their mics off to see what happens. They are not coming back. They've already been replaced. So now Amy Robach and TJ Holmes, guess what? Hired attorneys and they are suing. They're suing Good Morning America, and they're saying that there was no morality clause that was broken, and they're even inserting race. They're saying that they were discriminated against because he is Black, and it's an interracial situation. So they are suing now. They are mad that they cannot come back. But here's my question. Should they have been let go for an extramarital affair? I say no. I think it was much ado about nothing, but that's my opinion. What say you?
I don't think they should have been let go. However, a good day. What is it? A Good Morning America, right? That's on ABC. And ABC is basically owned by Disney. So that's that big morality. The mouse is moral as fuck. So I don't. That's the sad part. That's the ironic part. Because I heard that shit is a slave shop. But anyway, with that being said, if there's no morality clause, because that was the first thing I was going to ask. Is there a morality clause? Is there something in their contracts that says you can't deal with coworkers and blah blah blah? And if they don't have any, if there's no legal standing saying that they couldn't do what they did, then I don't see a case. I don't see a reason for termination.
But if there is a morality clause, I mean, what does that cover exactly? Because we hear that a lot. Does that mean you
It's
can't have-
fraternization. If they did, it's no fraternizing. That's what they would. It had to specifically spell it out. You can't fraternize or you can't date somebody. Morality could be you can't smoke, get caught with weed in your car by the police. All that could be morality. But fraternization specifically means how you interact with your coworkers.
Like
So-
you can't make us look bad, and this is what the specific shit is basically. You can't be out here fraternizing, fucking all that kind of good stuff. You know, what I mean?
Yeah,
If you
I think
do,
what
you're
it
out
is
here.
like, just like you said, they take them off the air to see if the ratings, what the ratings look like without them, and the ratings didn't dip, so they were like, "Cool, we cool to take them off the air." And because two things could happen. Number one, all of these divorces and stuff that might come up that put a spotlight that will just suck up all the energy from the show. If it's like if on CNN is reporting, oh, TJ's wife is suing and suing the chick, and then what happens if they start not getting along and they coworkers? I mean, it could totally just derail the show, and it's got too much money invested in it to take that chance. I mean, you rarely see that situation kind of end up being something that's healthy in the long run. I mean, you saw with like I watched the Morning Joe with Joe Scarborough and Minka, and they were coworkers and they got together, and they on the same show. But it's rarely that those things, especially the way they happen coming from an affair, if their relationship can really stand the test of time and all the scrutiny and all the shit that's going to be coming from them. And then what happened? Two people who used to fuck around with each other sitting up there trying to play coy when you can see the tension on screen. I understand it. It's not right, but I understand from a business point of view.
Okay. No, Saint, you care? Moving on or what?
I care. I'm waiting my turn.
Yeah, I don't really care that much, but I mean, as far as like them getting fired, no, I will say this: them trying to sue and say it has something to do with them being interracial, to me is ridiculous. They're in New York City. It's not like they're in like Kansas somewhere with 20 people and in an all white area. So that sounds ridiculous. But the fraternization, if they had a clause or not, that could be an issue in a lawsuit, because if they didn't, then. But I think it's gonna, in my opinion, I think they're looking for a settlement. I don't think ABC is gonna go through
Payout.
They're just looking for a payout. Yep.
Okay. So I think they were really smart. I think why they didn't lose anything is because, okay, they got rid of TJ Holmes and Amy Bobagura, but they inserted some lookers. Boy, have you seen that man? Okay, the man at the face, TJ Holmes. I'm like, well, hey, baby, how you doing? They definitely very smart move. They put somebody in there that made you forget TJ Holmes was on that show. Very, very smart move, right? Because I forgot about him quick, fast. I was like, who this, right? And they started showcasing him like, here's the new guy. And I think people just forgot that TJ Holmes was even on that bitch, to be completely honest. Another lawsuit I heard of recently that I'm all for, that I thought was great, is that the Seattle Public School District is suing, right? TikTok, Meta, YouTube, and Snapchat. And here is why. Okay, they're suing them because they want them responsible and liable for the increase in teen suicide, children being depressed, not being able to concentrate in school, and just having problematic little lives because they're all addicted to these apps. Now, of course, some people will be like, they're not going to win that and blah, blah. But I think it's good to see people fighting back on this topic, because it's obviously affecting our youth, and it's obviously purposely over and over spoken about. They are purposely making these things addictive. It is not a secret. It's not a secret. It's not like, is there a conspiracy? No, there are multiple whistleblowers who work for Google, Yahoo, Facebook, and they sit up and tell you what programs they implement to addict these children. So it's not a secret and it's not a conspiracy. They are telling you, this is what we do to get these kids hooked and coming back. So I don't think the lawsuit is frivolous. And I'd love to see how it's going to go.
Slippery slope. Slippery slope in my opinion.
Why
I
so?
do understand both sides of the arguments, but it kind of goes back to what we were saying in terms of the degeneracy in black culture, basically fueling hip hop, and are the record labels responsible for it? In
Mm-hmm.
many ways, the content machine that is social media, it gives you back what you feed it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It only gives you back what you feed it. If you're out here, you know what I mean, doing butt dances and you know what I mean, eating your dog's food or all kinds of crazy shit or doing whatever,
Mm-hmm.
or exhibiting narcissistic behavior and so on or whatever. And these teens, some of these teens are using these vehicles themselves as methods of bullying others and so on or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
That's on the culture itself. Now, the other side of the argument, I get where yes, methods are used to keep you coming back, you know what I mean, to the fold, to keep you engaged. But methods are also used to keep you eating certain foods. You know what I mean? We're addicted to fucking sugar in this fucking country. That's not an accident. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You know what I mean? So a lot of methods are used to keep you buying shit. You know what I mean, and doing so on and so forth in this country. It's just called, you know what I mean, it's just how companies get down. So I do understand both sides of the argument, but one side, everybody has to take responsibility in this situation. That's
So
my perspective.
I'm gonna push back a little bit before we pass.
Okay.
I'll push back a little bit. So with that argument, then why do we keep blaming Ronald Reagan for dropping crack, right, in our neighborhoods? Why don't we just say, hey, he didn't tell nobody to do crack, he just dropped it there? Because that's the same premise of, hey, we're not telling these kids to be depressed, we're just dropping it there. So why are people still blaming the CIA for crack?
Well,
And before
again,
you
I can
respond,
understand both.
Haran,
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
I never got to respond to the TJ Holmes situation.
But
I
you
know
did.
you all didn't mean to overlook me, but I never spoke on it.
No, I didn't
go
overlook
right
you at
ahead.
all. You calmed down, so I thought you were doing something.
No, I said I have something to say. I'm waiting my turn.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
go
no,
ahead,
but when you go behind the avatar, I automatically think you went to do something.
I did go to do something, but I was listening, but I was waiting for my turn.
Okay, so let's hear
Um,
it before we continue.
and you're not gonna like it,
I'm
but
not liking me personally.
and none of y'all,
Okay,
none of you gonna like it.
I like things I don't like. Let's hear it.
No, you don't. No, you don't. But I'm gonna say it anyway because that's why you like me, and that's why I like you too.
Let's hear it.
Betrayal.
Okay.
Betrayal. No one likes to say it. Betraying someone who put their trust in you.
Uh-huh.
Anyone who can hear the sound of my voice. Someone places their trust in you.
Mm-hmm.
It's really it's not a really it's not a there's no appropriate word for it except it's a sweetness in life for
Mm-hmm.
someone to give their trust to you. And when you betray that,
Mm-hmm.
it's low. You're in your lower level self. Because you can be in your higher self and just be truthful. You can say, I don't love you anymore. I'm not attracted to you anymore. I regret my vows. I want a divorce. I regret my vows and I'm attracted to Amy and I want to see where that goes. You can speak up. You have a mouth. And then the person won't be so betrayed because at least you're giving.
But Joanna, tie that into TJ Holmes and Amy Robach suing Good Morning America for letting them go. That's what we're talking about. That they're suing GMA for letting them go. Because we already know the betrayal thing and all of that. We're fine. I think we all.
Well, I had to go there because I think you made a statement that you didn't see anything them being worth fired for.
Right.
Did you say that?
Yes.
Okay, so that's why
Mm-hmm.
I led with what I'm leading with. Because you gave your opinion, you gave your opinion, you premised your opinion first. I'm giving my opinion first as well. and then I'll lead into the legal. I'm going to give my opinion. Betrayal is wrong. I would be wrong to betray you, Jen.
Right.
I would be wrong. I would be wrong.
Okay, so he deserves
So now,
because he betrayed.
I know you don't like hearing that. But please let me finish. I'm going to get into what you want me to get into. I know you don't like hearing that. I know that. That's okay.
Wait, time out. I don't not like, or I like disagreements. It makes the show flow. I love disagreements. So please stop accusing me of not liking something. It's weird. That's the first thing. I'm glad that you're contradicting what I'm saying, but I just want you to stay on topic. I think when your spouse betrays you, you have every right to get divorced. Absolutely. My topic is, does TJ Holmes and Amy Robach have a right to sue GMA? That's where I'm at. So I don't know what you're talking about. I don't like to hear things. I'm confused.
You have a right. You have a right to sue anybody. I can sue you for having a program. That don't mean I'm gonna win. Okay. So yeah, they have a right to sue. But I think your other thing that you're probably wanting to discuss is, I think GMA has the bigger guns, bigger lawyers, more money, and I think any lawyer who would take on TJ Holmes and Amy Robach's case is just taking their money. It's just taking them. They'll take your money. A lawyer, attorney will take your money, and know that the case is not going to be in your favor. Mm-hmm. But I just needed to let it be said that, you will receive what you put out, and what they're receiving is what they put out. And so, that's where that is about that. And I'm sorry that felt weird for me to say that you don't like it. I led with that. I said you're not going to like it, and I know you're not going to like it. That's why you didn't let me finish my sentence.
Okay, Joanna. So, Haran, you were saying you was about to say something about it.
I have no goddamn clue now.
What
we talking about?
You moved on to the TikTok and
right. Yeah. Then you use the Reagan and the cocaine logic. Okay, yes. I can see both sides of the coin on that as well, because I have a very lengthy perspective on that, the likes of which I'm not going to get into right now. But I will condense it. I will condense it and say that on one end, the act of putting drugs into our community right at the moment when it was the most desperate and the most broken, it was really an opportunity taken by the government that they should be held accountable for. However, there's some degree on the end of our community where I'm just a little bit on the fence of whether or not we were even in the mental state to fight back, the opportunity to actually take, advantage of the drug trade in our community and get all that money and so on and so forth. And what it became, was it just way too alluring for us to ignore? There's a lot of layers to it. There's just a lot of layers to that conversation that I just can't get into right now. But I will just sit here. What's up?
I said, pero Haran, if you're saying that
you want me to say what you want me to basically agree with what you're saying, is that it? There's layers to the whole situation.
I don't want you to agree. I want you to explain.
Here's the thing.
Here's responsible. Why not these people that are? It's an addiction. Crack was an addiction.
I didn't say they shouldn't be held responsible. I did say that the government should answer for it. I did say that. A second ago. But I also said that. What's up?
The CIA with crack, they should be held responsible.
Yes, they should. They should.
But not the social media billionaires.
No, I believe that they should also. Okay. But I'm saying that I said, maybe if you missed it, I said that there's an argument for both sides to take, responsibility for the situation. I work in tech. I know all the tricks and all the things that they are doing, to get people hooked on these things. So I understand the concerns and the issues I've been asked to do some things, and I was just like, "You sure?" You know what I mean? You know, and it is what it is. I get it, but we can't also absolve some of the content that we see. You know what I mean, flowing on these sites. You know what I mean, no one told you to do some of the just insane things that we've seen on these sites for the sake of just clout and narcissism.
So let me add this. So the teachers are basically, or the school district or whatever, is suing because it's making their job harder, right? One of the correspondents was saying that they all need therapy. The kids need therapy, the teachers need therapy, but it's literally making their job harder. Now, here's the thing. You're saying, well, shit, these kids they're partaking and they're twerking and they're, eating Clorox tabs to see what happens, things like that. But isn't that a result of the addiction? The same way when we back in our neighborhoods, I can tell you, I would see crackheads climbing trees. I would see crackheads stealing VHS, machines and things like that. So are we looking at the result when you say, well, look at them participating? Is that not a result of the addiction?
Absolutely, it is a result of the addiction. But there needs to be a discussion about both sides being held accountable. Now, on the side of big tech, big tech and the government, they have to come in, they have to start regulating some things, man. They got to really start putting their foot down with some things because it's getting way out of hand with a lot of things. I'm literally a part of the generation of technologists and engineers who basically built this shit. Mm-hmm. And we didn't even think it would turn into this. Mm-hmm. I mean, it was just pretty much basically doing our jobs and so on. But I hold myself accountable. My hands aren't clean. I literally help fuck the world up. And I cash my check at the end of the day. I'm real enough to say that shit. You know what I mean? I got a lot of good things out of them checks. What you saying, Dan?
It's funny because one of the things is like anytime like big tech and companies like that, they weigh the risk reward. They say, okay, the payouts and the legal fees, what they say when they do their quarterly reports, they input, all right, we're going to get sued this much, it's going to cost us, they account for $100 million of lawsuits on their balance sheet, just like a store accounts for shrinkage from people stealing. Yes. They say, we know we're going to get sued, we're going to be paid out. So they say only time they take any type of real action is if that money that they've already agreed, the shareholders agreed they're willing to lose, goes higher than that, then they'll take some action. But if it falls within what was discussed and agreed upon by the board and the shareholders, they ain't moving a penny. And from the amount of revenue they get from those things, the reward is way outweighs the risk. So don't think of them to move anytime soon.
If you're going to keep creating this content, if you have a series of people that are so damaged, that are so addicted to the concept of social media, that they're creating all this wild shit, and in the end, the only thing they're really doing is bring more traffic to the application. You know what I mean? You think big tech is going to stop that shit? They're not stopping that shit. You're making them money. All that wild, Jen, when you went on Twitter and you saw all that wild shit and whatever, yeah, they know that shit is on there. You think they're going to you think they're going to regulate that shit? Hell no. Because guess what? All those OnlyFans girls on there who we stated that make a ton of money, they advertise on Twitter. So if they're going to be on Twitter, Twitter wants a piece of that traffic that the OnlyFans girls are basically using to get their money. So it's all a racket. Mm-hmm. It's all a huge racket. And everybody's getting paid, man. You know what I mean? And in the end, there's going to be a lot of suffering. There's going to be we're going to look back on this 20, 30 years from now, and there's going to be a case study on the mounds of suffering from what has been going on and what has been allowed to happen.
Anybody else got anything on this? Do you think they're responsible for what's happening to the youth?
So, I got a couple of things. What Dane was saying is, they did that with the opioids. They knew that the opioid epidemic was going to be a thing, and they looked at how much they could lose and how much they could make. And they said, you know what, we're going to make a lot more money than we're going to lose. We're going to go ahead and press on with it. But I think that this is a good lawsuit, and I think it's just the beginning. They're going to look at this like they looked at big tobacco. Nobody thought big tobacco was touchable. And then big tobacco got sued and was touchable. And for people that always talk about we don't need government regulation, yeah, we do need government regulation, because if you don't have government regulation things, people take advantage people take advantage, and they're not going to be responsible towards the everyday person. They're just going to be responsible to making the money and to their shareholders. So I think it's a first step. And I don't think it'll go away. I think that the further we get into this, government regulation will probably become a thing in this space. Whether it's misinformation, whether they're all the misinformation we're getting on through social media and causing people to go and attack the Capitol, or things like that. I think eventually they'll have to do something about it. And I think this is a first step. These teachers, and I want to say that. Real quick, and I want to say that, it's funny because I went in to visit. I had a conference with one of my son's teachers and counselors, and one of my kids they have computers, Chromebooks in their classroom, and she said, yeah, well, he's smart, he can do all the work, but I always catch him playing games. And I said, isn't there a block? The kids know how to get around all the blocks. They block that stuff, but the kids figure out a way to get to all these different games. So we made a decision to give him the paper and take it. And after he finishes his work, he can have the Chromebook. But yeah, definitely, I think it's a good lawsuit. I think it's a necessary lawsuit.
If like you just kind of pick up what you're saying, like if the government gets involved, you're going to create a whole new job. It's going to be called there's tobacco lobbyists, there's gun lobbyists, there's going to be the social media lobbyists. These social media companies are going to pay these high priced lobbying machines to just lobby the shit, donate a bunch of money, and nothing is going to be done because they have just as much influence, actually more influence than tobacco and firearms and way more money.
Damn.
It's a good point.
The future looks bleak for the children.
When did it?
And I would like to piggyback what Dame said is absolutely correct. Definitely spot on. And, GMA did not willy-nilly push TJ and Amy off to the side without knowing what they were prepared for. As you were saying, that companies leaving their reserves money for being sued, right? And so now they're trying to sue them. Don't think GMA is not prepared. Don't assume that. Don't presume that they got enough money, and don't think they're not prepared for these type of things. Another thing I agree with you on is about, and I disagree, Haran. Regulation, muy poquito, just a bare necessity of regulation. You don't want a whole big government bureaucracy like Dame tried to explain. You'll have, it'll make matters even more combobulated. You'll have people, like you said, making a lot of money lobbying justice warriors, which you guys probably, support. I'm not marching for nothing.
Go on.
You do wrong.
Those damn tree huggers.
You guys, I didn't say nothing while you guys were speaking. Not one thing. I didn't say nothing.
No, you didn't. No, you didn't.
I didn't, and I don't.
No, go ahead.
But I know I'm far. I'm almost down to the far right where you can't see me, and so it's hard to hear the words that come out of my mouth.
Diamond died. Diamond died. Remember the Diamond that them ladies.
Yeah, I saw that Diamond and Silk lady.
There's a spot open.
Diamond died. Diamond died. But see, Jen, I don't think I have the personality to pull off 3 hours of talking. I just can't imagine. It really is a skill. It really is a talent. And when I say I have to write out, think about what I'm going to say, I just can't imagine. You guys have a skill. Diamond had a skill. May she rest in peace. But no, I'm not sorry because I know she's going to the creator, so it's okay. But I agree with you, Damon. I know that's probably going to freak you out.
No.
But I've agreed with a lot of things. There was something else that you were speaking about your brother. You're speaking
Which
about
one?
your brother so eloquently, so poignantly. And I was like, man, he is spot on about that. So I agree with you about a lot of things. And I agree with you about a little regulation, Haran, not too much. I'm conservative. And all we want is for government is to provide protection, from bad guys, but keep the freeway open. We don't want people doing drive-bys on the freeway. We want the freeway open, though. See, keep it open. All right, I'm done.
So
Honestly, I wish it was as strict as China with the TikTok and the social media. That's what I wish. I wish it was.
yeah, because what we're talking about is protection. This is exactly what we're talking about: protecting people from being exploited, and so what the government can do is make it to where put sets of rules out saying you do this and you are open to you're open to liability, you're open to lawsuits, and make it kind of clear if you can make it clear. That'd be the tough part. But yeah, so we do want the government to protect us, and we want them to protect us in different ways, not just with the military.
But it's just the thing.
I don't want the government to protect my feelings. No, Saint. You want your feelings protected. You don't like people getting on Twitter and saying raunchy things. I don't like hearing raunchy things. So you know what I do? Wait a minute. I don't like hearing raunchy things. So you know what I do? I don't get on Twitter. But I don't make everybody else not be able to be on Twitter. See, you want right and wrong to be regulated, which is almost an ambiguous. Killing is wrong. And I even say cheating is wrong, but I don't want nobody to go to jail for it. Small regulation. Somebody's cheating, leave. Somebody's hurting you, move. Somebody's not treating your child right in school, pull them out of the school. You don't like your job, fire them. Go get another job or start your own business.
Ooh.
I don't want nobody coming in regulating and saying, you said this to Joanna at her job, and now you got to pay some money. That's wrong.
I think you're simplifying. Oversimplifying. I'm a very strong, rigid individual. I'm not going to do drugs because I see it. I'm not going to twerk and crack my ass on Twitter because I see it. It doesn't mean that it should be willy-nilly and the government should allow whatever is going on, because Jen's not going to do drugs no matter how many times she sees it. We can't live like that in society. That's why our society is going to shit.
America, let me say something to Joanna. And I said this before on the same platform. America is addicted to freedom, like a drug addict is addicted to crack. Like a crack addict is a good crack. We mainline freedom. Take away the freedoms, and people go apeshit. I don't care what the freedom. The smallest freedom, if it's tread on, will have the biggest uproar, and people will go apeshit. It's just, how do you effectively take away people's freedom? There's always freedom of speech, freedom of expression. People will always try to relay it back to something that's in the Constitution. So as a politician, you got to pick and choose which freedom you're going to attempt to take away. There's no way that the freedom of speech is the hardest one to ever fight as a politician. You just kind of lose. It's a losing battle. If people feel like you're taking away their freedom of expression or freedom of speech, you will not be a politician very long. So most people don't even want to tackle those issues. So it's just like there's no way we could be like China, because China, there is no constitution. Your freedom is what the government dictates that your freedom is. And they can take that freedom any way without any notice. So that's the difference between America. We don't want to go that severe because America would lose their shit. And if you thought January 6th was bad, say take away the freedom of speech, and it's going to be all out chaos. It's going to be anarchy in the streets. I promise
because they give out guns here like candy, so they can't do that because it'll bite them in the ass.
Absolutely.
I'll tell you what to do now. So it's a double-edged sword.
I agree. And no Saint, I agree with you about, it's very difficult to penetrate minds. But when you continue to say people don't really understand what freedom of speech is, they really don't. And I hear you over and over on different shows go into what freedom of speech. Freedom of speech means the government doesn't have a right to silence you. They're not going to silence you. But people on the ground think that freedom of speech means I say what I want and there's no consequence.
No, I totally agree with you. That's what I say.
But I know you get the misunderstanding.
Yeah.
People think freedom of speech means I should be able to say what I want on Jen's platform and she's not going to reprimand me. That's not it. Freedom of speech means the government is not going to do anything about what you say unless you threaten the president, threaten human life, or scream fire in a crowded space. Other than that, the government don't give a damn about what you're saying. Now, when people are talking about on there on YouTube, and YouTube is going against freedom of speech, okay, YouTube is not the government. YouTube is a private organization, a private business. In a private business, you can regulate what you want, just like Jen can tell me to shut the fuck up. This is her private space, and people don't understand private space. They don't understand that I can't say whatever I want to say to Haran and him not put his hand up like he gonna, strangle me. He gonna do that. That needs to be expected. People don't understand what freedom of speech means. I can say whatever the freaking frack I want to, and so can you all, and nobody can do a thing about it except sue somebody. But suing doesn't mean you've done something. That means you brought a charge. That's all it means. Oh, so-and-so suing somebody. All it means is I'm bringing a charge against you. Nothing has been decided.
I think people get confused a lot they think protecting freedom of speech is the same thing as protecting a freedom of idea. Like if I were to say, the person who says, I hate black people, he has every right for those words to come out of his mouth. But the idea is not protected because there are repercussions to saying that. So I think that's what people get confused. You can physically say whatever you want if it doesn't cause, like you can't yell, like I said, you can't yell fire in a crowded movie theater because it may cause harm or whatever. You can't say anything that, but I think people get that confused. They say, I can say, I hate this group of people. I can say that all day, but people get confused. But wait a minute, you mean I'm losing my job because I said that?
And your job can fire you for saying that you hate those people.
Because the idea is not protected. Nobody arrested you, or you didn't for speaking. It was the idea that was detrimental to the peace of that office in that job. That's what it is. The idea is not protected. The ability to to express the idea is, and I think that's where people get it confused.
And that's why I would not want TikTok or these things to be sued, because that is freedom of expression. I don't like it. I don't have a TikTok account. I don't have Snapchat. I don't have Twitter. I have YouTube and Facebook and Instagram. But it's not too many crazy things on those places. But I'm not going to try to regulate them. People enjoy it. They enjoy it. I think it's low grade, type stuff, but they get to decide. And that's why I love America. You're allowed to be a degenerate. You're free to do that. If you want to get on TikTok and act a fool, you can do that. And if a school decides that they don't want phones and kids on TikTok, what is the issue with the people? Jen, I got confused. The school don't like TikTok. Is that it?
No, the school district wants to sue TikTok, Snapchat, and what have you, because it's making the children depressed, suicidal. It's making them hard to stay focused, and it's just affecting them mentally and emotionally. It's making the teachers' jobs harder. The teachers are noticing it's harder to manage and teach these students because these students are coming in so depressed.
And I agree that TikTok does all those things. It devolves. That's why Steve Jobs, he purported that he would not allow his children to have the phone that he created. He would not allow them to. What's that other guy's name? Rich guy's name, who's the Gates guy. He wouldn't allow his kids to watch TV or have phones and be on the internet. They don't allow it. Cardi B won't allow her child, which she shouldn't, of course, to listen to her music. People know that it's degenerative, but I don't think they should be sued for being degenerates.
Okay. So let's move on to the next thing. You guys are familiar with Bad Baby, aka Catch Me Outside. How about that? She got very famous being on
50 million on OnlyFans. Yeah.
She made $50 million during the pandemic on OnlyFans. I don't know exactly what she does there. I don't know anybody who's taken a screenshot or anything. Anyway, she joined OnlyFans as soon as she turned 18, and her subscriptions went through the roof. She was asked recently, what does she think about all the men that waited till she turned 18 to subscribe? Are they pedophiles? And she said yes. And they asked her, should they be in jail? And she said yes. So what do you think about her thinking her own subscribers are pedophiles?
Well, she exploited them.
Yeah.
So yeah, you think they're disgusting, but you made a buck off of them. So what does that say about you? So it is what it is. But anyway, everybody at the end of the day, I'm pretty sure everybody enjoyed themselves. You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, I really don't have too much to say.
I mean, because what she said is like she said people have been sending her private messages. She said, I think she said she was 15. I can't wait till you turn 18. You need to get an OnlyFans as soon as you turn 18. And people have been saying, like, and these, yes, they are degenerates. They are look at this motherfucking cat. We got, okay, I'm just sorry. We found a cat in the trash and now it's our cat. And
okay, so it's a trash cat.
I can't read it. Read the chat. I can't read it.
Let me see the kitty. Oh my God, he's pretty.
We're showing pets.
I love, my whole house is gray and silver. He would match.
Go, cat. I hate it when it comes in the office because she just comes in.
Okay,
and
now I
my
gotta show
feet.
you Bo.
You saved him. Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, I need me a gray cat to match my furniture. Everything is gray and silver.
Look in the trash, you'll find one. No, I'm just kidding. It's funny because it was like this meme where they were saying like,
you found him in the trash too?
there was this meme that said it was like the difference between like rescue cats and rescue dog owners. Rescue dog owner, they were like, I had to, do a wellness check and fill out this form and do this and do that. He's like, my cat, yeah, I found that motherfucker in the trash.
He minded his little business. I need me a pet. I swear I do. I need me a pet. I'm just like,
I got a dog. I'm ready to die alone.
All right.
Cool. This is Uncle Bo.
Hi, Uncle Bo. Uncle Bo minding his business. Like, who are these crazy people? Hi, Uncle Bo. Oh my goodness. So I Want My Vision Back said those men are definitely predators and perverts, but her OnlyFans material was when she was 18 and of age. So prison, no. Okay. We do have an age of consent in this country. He is right.
Yeah.
Jen, I was watching something else who was discussing I don't know her real name, but the Cash Me Outside lady.
Yeah, that's what we talking about.
And I was watching somebody else talking about the money that she's accrued from that, like $50 million.
Yes.
$6.6 million home in Florida in the States and 3 luxury cars. And I was sitting there thinking, and they were showing clips of her OnlyFans page. She wasn't nude. She wasn't nude or anything. And Jen, let me tell you, I thought about being OnlyFans.
There you go, Joanna. That's what I'm talking about.
Because I was like, she got 1 million within the first 30 minutes. You know how y'all can look at the numbers. What do you call it? The analytics and all that. She got 1 million within the first half hour. So, because like she said, they were waiting on her. They've been counting down when she could get up there because she's 18. But I was thinking, because it's not just showing your body or your feet or whatever, it's other stuff too. And I was like, God dang, I need another revenue stream, and these guys giving up that kind of money. And a lot of these, if you ever looked on there, a lot of these chicks ain't that fly, and they getting paid. I'm average, and these ladies are getting paid. And so she made.
Everyone has their audience. Trust me. You can put anything up there, you will get
a foot.
I would never rule it out. I'm not gonna rule it out. If it came down to that, and me being on the streets, I'll put some hands and feet up. I'll walk around. I got some. I got a little something still at 53.
Okay. So
I ain't getting naked. I ain't getting buck naked.
What's up, Trinity Time Travel Show?
We need to do a contest. Everybody that appears on the Block with Jen should start an OnlyFans, and we'll race to see who makes the most money.
I'm gonna put Erica's foot on it.
I'll do it. I got some girls I can call up. I can be like, hey, you can wear a mask, sweetheart. Just let me do my thing.
I want to comment on what you were saying on the topic. So it's kind of funny because, first of all, it's crazy the amount of money she made off her notoriety. I mean, that really is crazy, and she should thank her lucky stars that it happened the way it happened for her because. I mean, worth is a definition. You can say she's not worth it, but if people are willing to pay, then yeah, she is kind of worth it, right? But it's really funny, like the magic number of 18. So I agree. Like we have laws here, and if you're an adult, I don't like girls anyway. That I like older. You have to be over a certain age before I'm even thinking you're attractive. But it is kind of weird, like. Okay, 17, like I remember people used to say, I can't wait. I mean, the joke was, I guess it was a joke. I can't wait for the Olsen twins to turn 18. Everybody was looking at the Olsen twins, and I'm like, oh. But for her to say that, the thing I'm thinking is, okay, so someone found her attractive at 15 or 16, and now she's 18. So, okay. As if you're looking at them and they don't turn attractive until they're 18, and somehow this guy's a predator, pervert. No, suddenly these guys, everybody else, suddenly she's calling everybody who subscribed to our page a predator, or pervert. I know.
Continue.
It's not, but I'm saying they're calling them predators and perverts at 17 and 300 and whatever days before and as soon as she turns 18, anybody comes in after that, you're not a predator or pervert. It's really odd to me,
Well, no. To your point, yes, in America, the magic number is 18.
Yeah.
It's embedded in our heads. I want to answer Brianne LaFay, one of our lovely panelists, says, my husband says no. Here's the thing, doll. OnlyFans is not only ass and tits. You can knit sweaters. I didn't say what you had to do on OnlyFans. I said we can all do it and see who gets the most at the end of the year. You could do cooking recipes. Okay, you can have a book club. OnlyFans has a lot going on. I'm just saying.
That's what I noticed when I surveyed it. It wasn't just women showing different things. There's people teaching how to do stuff on OnlyFans. I didn't know that.
Yeah,
and that's why the average.
let's keep it funky. People, 90% of the content is adult.
Yes.
Actually,
That person-
the funny thing about it, the funny thing about OnlyFans is that it started out as this thing where people were just like knitting sweaters and giving, just, non-explicit content. It didn't blow up until until
the fitness women. The women started
yeah.
giving fitness tips, and they started
Right.
dressing more provocatively. Then it was like,
Right,
I'm gonna work out in a bikini. It's just like the
And then
gamer
these
thing.
The chicks started seeing the potential in it. The 304 started seeing the potential in it, and they just ran with it. And the stars just aligned for them with the pandemic. With the pandemic, they made it grit.
Did you see when OnlyFans was thinking about like getting rid of adult content? These
Oh my
content
God,
creators
Twitter was
lost
on fire
a
that night.
mind.
Oh my
Yep.
God. Twitter was on fire that day, man. People were literally panicking. Women were literally panicking, man.
I just don't
It was
part with my
insane.
money that easy. I just don't. There was a YouTuber that was her name was Hot for Word. She was from Russia, but she lived in the United States now, and she would dress nicely on her Hot for Word. She had a lot of, and I got to know her through YouTube, and she started an OnlyFans page. I'm not paying to see her naked. I'm just not. I'm like, okay, I'm not that interested.
Oh, by the way, Bad Baby said, "Catch Me Outside." When they asked her, "What do you think about men that say I'm not paying to see ass and tits?" She said, "Oh, they broke."
Okay.
That's what she said.
That's why
what
I'm
she
not
said.
broke. That's why
That's
I'm
what
not
she
broke.
said.
I'm
But you
not
know,
broke,
she's gonna
I'm
throw
not.
out she's gonna throw out what she has to throw out to fuck with people's egos. She may be young, but she's not dumb.
I don't even know what she looks like at this point.
Yeah.
And-
But you know
and-
what? Really quickly, you know what? TMZ, I noticed, has always pushed her. So TMZ is not no small company, and they've always pushed that girl way before her OnlyFans, way before she was 18. She stayed on TMZ rotation. So
That's
to
why.
have that kind of marketing, anybody would have made $50 million.
That's why. That's what I was gonna say, because I didn't like her attitude, so I wasn't a fan of hers at all anyway. But certainly at this point, I can't believe she's still relevant. But you're saying somebody's pushing her, so it makes more.
And I found it bizarre. Like I used to watch TMZ, and I was like, why do they keep talking about this girl? She's not singing at that time. She wasn't rapping. I'm like, she's not acting. I found it bizarre to the point where I was like, does TMZ have a deal with this girl, like to push her and then take a cut of that money? Because I found it weird. They were talking about her right after they talked about a Meg Ryan or Angelina Jolie
Damn,
segment, and I was
that's
like,
bizarre.
She told.
Hold on,
She told.
Hold on, let me see. They do it like college recruiters. You ever heard of those college recruiters who go recruit people in junior high? They know that this person is going to blow up, and then they just want the inside track on them so they can get they can have the scoops early and they can have scoop often. They just want to, and then they do partner up with the person and be like, hey, I'm gonna be at what you call it, especially, I'm gonna be at this party. And I wouldn't doubt if she is not one of their confidential sources when she's at these parties with these other celebrities that said, oh, I saw Soulja Boy doing cocaine, or I saw Trey Songz do X, Y, and Z. That's what happens with it. They say, okay, you may put me up so I'm constantly in the highlight. I will be your snitch. I'll be your inside man.
It's a cold world, dress warm. And they're gonna let her in, and they're not gonna think she's a groupie because she already did the Dr. Phil thing. So they'll probably do whatever they do in front of her, like, oh, she cool, that's Bad Baby, she cool. Oh, it's a cold world. Dress warm.
And Jen, that's why I was just about that. I was trying to interrupt to say that what you just said. She told Dr. Phil to his face, catch me outside.
But she was telling the audience member that. She was telling somebody in the audience that. Yeah.
And a 4'1", 80-something pound
she was like 15 at the
so-called
time.
white girl told a leading white man in the country at the time to catch me outside.
The leading white man in the country.
The leading white man in the country. Who's not going to follow that? You're right. It is bizarre, but our culture is bizarre. You know, our culture is bizarre.
I wish that
What
person would
we,
have caught her outside.
you know,
He said the leading white man in the country. That says it
The
all.
leading white
Look
man
at
in the country.
I feel it. Why? How did this turn into the Boondocks? It's like that
The leading
soft
white man in the
milky
country.
skin. Oh yeah, those little nigglets.
And I
What
wish Tristan was here to do a screenshot of Dr. Phil's face when she said that to him. Because I was watching and he didn't know what to say. He was just staring at her.
No, she didn't say it to him.
Yeah,
She said it to somebody in the audience, and Dr. Phil didn't understand the language. He was like, "Catch me what?" She was like, "Catch me outside. How about that?" And he's like, "Catch me outside." Yeah, catch me outside. How about that? And he was like, "Catch you outside." He didn't understand. You know, Dr. Phil doesn't speak Ebonics, so he didn't know what was going on.
No, that's what happens when you're the leading white man in the country. You know, you gotta sit down and do those frivolous things. You hire people. You got Negroes on tap.
Mr. Uncle Ruckus.
The fuck?
But you know, God bless her. She's making her money legally. You know, what do you think about this? No Saint? If it wasn't for these type of things like TikTok, where young people can make money, and I really want to hone in on women. No Saint, with this question. What do you think about this? With women particularly, I don't know. I'm not gonna say that. I was gonna say men gonna do what they gotta do to survive, but as I look around, I don't know anymore. But women, I really don't, because I see so many men on the street, you know what I'm saying? I just don't understand when people are hiring. But anyway, but women, particularly young women, no skilled young women, like Cash Me Outside, if it wasn't for OnlyFans and TikTok, with the economy and with the way things are going and the way I don't want to be negative, seeing things kind of going in the future, women are in danger of income. See, you ain't gonna be able to survive no more. Women ain't gonna be able to survive no more working at the checkout counter at dealers, JCPenney's, selling flowers at the flower stand or at the coffee shop. You know, a lot of those places gonna disappear. You can get a lot of this stuff online. You can buy alcohol online and send it to your door. Did you know that?
Mhm.
But anyway, without this TikTok and OnlyFans and other things like that, don't you think that women would eventually be in danger of having to prostitute themselves out, particularly younger women who aren't educated or have high skills?
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, sure. If you're not educated, you don't have high skills, you're gonna not be in a good spot. But I don't know. It's kind of hard to tell the future on what. But as far as I don't know the correlation. I guess I'm asking, what's the correlation between what you're saying about TikTok and all these things? You're saying if they don't have it, they're in danger? I don't think those two.
Well, you know, Jen on one of her shows, like you said, I was lurking. I didn't make myself known, but I was lurking, and she was saying that these kids on TikTok, man, they out there, they're doing it, and they are. You know, but a lot of them making a fool out of themselves. But you know, we've lost standards, so that doesn't matter anymore. You know, they're making money, and we want them to make money because I don't want them coming and asking me for nothing or robbing me. So I'm kind of grateful that they're, you know, they have this. I guess yes, I am. It's a legal form of income. I am grateful, and I'm glad that they are willing to do it. That's where I'm coming from. Yeah,
well, I think that, I mean, it's hard to tell the future, but I think that there'll always be new things that people will be savvy enough to make money on. So this is one of them, the TikTok, and then people have found ways to monetize. I think that will probably continue. But yeah, it's definitely hard. Everything's getting automated. I mean, we all know that. There are going to be less and less low skilled jobs out there than have been in the past. It's been going that way for a long time.
I mean, what would Cash Me Outside do if there was no OnlyFans?
She's lucky. She's one.
She can barely speak English.
1 in a million.
So let me say this: when I spoke about, you know, the TikTok kids making money hand over fist. I'm talking about the kids that are doing comedy skits, which is acting, which is you have to write those skits. That's comedy. I'm talking about the young girls that are doing makeup. You know what I mean? They're makeup artists. I'm talking about the dancers. They have dancers that will never tour the world with Janet Jackson are making money hand over fist on TikTok, doing their little 15-second dances. So that's what I'm talking about. Those kids are making a lot of money. Now, the ones that are acting a damn fool and cracking their ass and twerking, that's a whole different situation. I'm strictly talking about these kids that are 16, 17, 18, making money hand over fist, doing those things on TikTok. I worked with a content house. That is what it's called, where all the TikTokers kind of like, they stay there 12 hours every day and they all do their skits and use each other for their skits. It is a system. And then there's a room and there are 5 people at their computers uploading those skits, and it works like a machine. When I was in there, I was like, yo, those kids work harder than people in corporate America. They start at 7 a.m., they end at 7 p.m., and they're constantly all doing skits and borrowing the wigs, and they have a whole costume, and it's usually like in a mansion, and one person his name is Paul Vu, to be specific. And he's the content house. He's providing the location for those kids to come in. Of course, he makes the bulk of the money. But they all have their own separate TikToks. They do the content, and people are, you know what I mean? It's like a fucking meat market, but they're making their money, and they're working from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. And I was working with them one time, and I was like, yo, you guys are doing 12 hours a day. But, you know, these kids are 15, 16, 17 years old. So they got it in them to work 12 hours a day. I was like, but it's a machine. It's a machine. It's a machine.
Right.
Good insight.
Yeah, that's what happens so all them people that you see have 5 million followers on TikTok, they usually work in content houses. If you're curious about it, you can watch Hype House on Netflix. Very interesting.
I'll check that out.
It's very
It's funny. Is it the one where they had like? Is it the one where they had like the designer thing? Because it was doing at the fashion show. Because my niece is actually in one of those shows. I think it was Hype House. She's a model in. Somebody had like a fashion show. In that show Hype House, I think it was. I think it was that. It was like I think it was that. She was somebody did a show and she was in that show Hype House on Netflix.
Yeah, and then you get these kids get addicted to the money because the money is like, oh, all I got to do is a 2-step. All I got to do is a skit. All I got to do it, and the money just it rolls in. The money rolls in. Especially
all I have to do is that bow-legged Sierra dance.
The praying mantis. I hate it.
The praying mantis.
When she pops her legs open, oh God, it's cringy.
That is funny when you did that the other night. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, you can make some money off of that. That's funny.
So let's do that. Okay, so the last topic, speaking of ratchet and making lots of money, speaking of where the future is headed, okay, we're talking about the Super Bowl. Now, is the Super Bowl still the most watched program in this country, in the world, whatever?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Okay.
Yep.
Okay, so who'd have thunk it? Who'd have thunk it, right? Super Bowl 2023. We have not only, an ex-stripper, right? A woman who promotes gangs, right? She promotes the Blood Gang. She claims she's a member, although maybe gang light. I don't think she's out there.
She's affiliated.
She's affiliated. She makes it very known. It's not a secret,
Mm-hmm.
right? So we're not saying anything here that she hasn't said herself. She's admitted to drugging men, like pretending she's a prostitute and drugging men. She's admitted to that, drugging men to get their money and their watches and what have you. She's still currently in and out of court for assaulting people, right? This is not her past. This is not 20, 30, 40 years ago or when she was in the hood, you know what I mean? So this is still current. This is her life, always going back and forth to court. Well, this woman, Cardi B specifically, just shot a commercial for the Super Bowl, the most watched program on the planet. Now, when you look at what's hot right now and what this country allows and doesn't allow, here we have everything I just said. That is her rap sheet, her current rap sheet, not a past rap sheet. How did we get to a country that went dark when Janet Jackson pulled out her titty with the help of Justin Timberlake? But how did we get from the whole world went dark when that titty came out to now this type of woman just shot her video? She also represents Pepsi and I forgot what other sneaker line, but this is mainstream celebrity. How do we go from that to this? Do you care? Sure, you could join, Brienne. This is our last topic. If you want to come up and talk about this, absolutely come up. So that one is loaded. What do you think? Should we be like, who cares? She's making her bag. This is where we are now. Who cares? No one should regulate this. Let the stripper let her do her thing.
It is where we are now. There's always little snippets in every episode that you do where we point out what's lacking in the culture, and not just so-called black culture. The Super Bowl is everybody, and it's a Super Bowl asking her, and they know about her past and what she admitted to doing. It's very dangerous, sneaking drugs in people's food or drinks. Extremely dangerous. It's criminal. And yet they've invited her. So that says a lot about, and are we still going to watch? Then that says something about us too. It's the culture. Yeah, it is what it is. But you can look away. You can look away from it,
Mm-hmm.
I don't listen to Cardi B's music. I listen to her talk to Joe Biden and see what she had to say, but I don't listen to her music. That's just me.
Cardi B represents something interesting to a lot of people, and I think this kind of contributes to her celebrity and her popularity. Is that Cardi B is what a lot of people wish they were, and what I mean by that is Cardi B is unafraid to be 100% herself 100% of the time.
Hello.
Everybody has the code switch.
Hey.
Everybody has to like kind of like censor themselves in certain issues. She is 100% who she is every day, represented, no filter, what have you time, and people envy the hell out of that. They wish they had the fortitude, the strength of conviction to, in any circumstances, be themselves. Yeah, there's degrees of downplaying it. She's not always what you call it, but she, like, you don't know how much it was celebrated when she got on the news and was like her first red carpet. She was like, "Oh, I'm nervous in my stomach and vagina." People applauded and was like, "Oh my God, she's so straightforward. She's just so." This the same shit they say about Donald Trump. Oh my God, he says it as he is, and it's plain spoken. I can understand what she's saying. Finally, somebody who's not talking over me. I can relate to certain things. People jock that ability so hard. I think that's why they are looking past the other stuff. Don't get me wrong. If a bunch of guys came out, it's like, oh yeah, she's the one who drugged and robbed me or whatever, they would take a step back. But nobody, all the stuff she's admitted to, nothing she's done outside of kicking it, nothing she's done has been really illegal. The fight that she got into, she got sued for, she didn't actually hit anybody. It was her people. They were like, she sent her people to come beat me up. So it's one of those things where everything has been just kind of word of mouth, innuendo, stuff like that. If people saw a video of her doing something like egregious, then they would take a step back. But I'm telling you, it's the fact that she has the she's fearless and she has the ability to just be her authentic self 100% of the time. Everybody wishes they could do that. I have a friend named Ty, and he's like that too. He's not as like crazy, he hasn't had a crazy life, but he's 100% of himself. And I do envy that because I'm in sales. I can be like one way, but then I got a code switch when I get in front of, the CEO of a company or whatever. I can't be my 100% myself 100% of the time. So I think that's what they respect about her, and they envy that.
So let me push back just a teeny tiny bit.
Okay.
When you say, she hasn't really done anything illegal, her admitting there's a video. This wasn't word of mouth. And she's crying about it, saying why she drugged these men that thought they were going to be her John for the night.
Yeah, okay? Yeah. I saw the video.
Okay, so that's illegal.
Well, no, but no. Me, I can say, you know what? I shot 8 people last night. I'm sorry I did it. But if 8 people don't come and say, hey, yeah, he shot me, then there's no legality. You saying I did something doesn't make it illegal. You can say I did illegal shit, but if there's no prosecution for it or nobody saying, yep, she did, here's the proof, then you could just be, it could all be bravado. It could all be part of the brand. There's a lot of rappers out there who ain't shot nobody and talk about they shot everybody.
You know, that's an excellent point. That's an excellent point. Because
hold on. Before we pass the mic. Damien, so you're saying essentially that people like, okay, it's not illegal if no one comes forward, like, hey, I was one of the guys. Actually, one guy did come forward, but nobody took him serious.
Yeah.
So you're saying even that shows, that says a lot about her fans then, because then there's the gender thing. What if a man said that?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, he said he drugged women. Oh, he would be done. That is.
I agree with both of you. There's 2 different conversations now, but I agree with both of you. If Cardi B was a man, if there was, Charlie B talking about drugging women, he would have been canceled. He would not be invited to the Super Bowl. That's why, I really don't like a lot of feminism talking points and ideals. I just really, a lot of it I don't, but I do believe that men are not keeping up with women, and that's why you're having a hard time, because she's changing. She's not grandma, she's not, and grandma wasn't grandma. Grandma was 21. Grandma was 19 and wet before. Okay.
And I just want to say this one thing, and to go back to what you're saying, and remember, the guys that she said she was doing that, they were committing a crime. They were soliciting prostitution. So people are going to not have sympathy for somebody who's committing a crime, especially if they feel like it's a crime where a man is taking advantage of a woman. There ain't going to be no big uproar on that. Johns don't get much love. It's Johns. You never hear, we need a John. We need a safe place for Johns to go. And it's all, we need a safe place for sex workers and prostitutes to go to get off the street. People don't care that these Johns were potentially getting robbed. Who gives a shit about him? He was committing a crime. He was exploiting a woman. He was exploiting a woman. Fuck him. That's
people
why
don't
nobody
care
cares
about men at all. And I see these men out here, and it's
wait a minute, damn it. Wait a minute.
Not all. You're right. Not all. But a lot of people do not give a jack tail about men, and it's sad to me. And I got a lot of strong women talking points, although I'm not a feminist, but there's an issue. I really think it's revolutionary, actually, the way men have been really speaking up on these internet YouTube streets in ways I've never.
Are men
in ways I've. Yeah, well, it's a what's the word for a feminist, but who's masculine? Come up with it, but. Yeah, it's very exciting, actually. I don't agree with a lot of it, but it's very exciting. A lot of points I do agree with, but that the men are making. And if you catch me on other panels, you'll hear me making these statements. But as a woman, the only thing I can say is that we're gonna do what we're gonna do. If you allow it, and the only way we're not going to do it is if you make us not want to do that.
Allow.
I don't know how else to say it. Yeah, we're going to do what we're going to do. So you got to catch up. And so men are trying to figure out, how do they, like you said the other night, how do men entice women when she no longer needs his resources? So he's going to have to reimagine relationships without needing, when she doesn't need his resources, But I do think that men have value if I don't access his resource at all. But that's not the culture we're in. See, I'm sure that the other women on this panel have no value, that men have value as well without their resources. But we're not the culture. We 3 are not the culture, But I digress. I've gotten off topic.
It's okay. Let's introduce, for those who haven't seen her speak on this panel, Brianne LaFay. Hi, Brianne LaFay.
Hello, everyone.
She has a
Oh,
really
Hello.
nice
nice drink.
channel. I was stalking your channel. You have a great channel. It is her name,
Yay.
Brianne LaFay. We're hoping Brianne joins us more often. Brianne, what say you about this topic?
Well, I was listening to the talking points about men needing to reimagine, I guess, how to get women without resources, like another way. I guess I've always seen men for more than just resources because of my father. So they're handy, typically great decision makers, very logical, willing to help, just all the qualities I saw in my husband. So I'm not the type of woman that needs to reimagine something, because even when my husband was injured, he was still doing all the other things he could do with an injury. So men are reimagining going other places at this point. I've heard, I mean, even my, I don't want to say it was my nephew, but I think even one of my younger cousins saying, you know, when I'm a little bit older, I'm just going to go somewhere else. So the reimagining, you know, being able to provide, but for other women, not in the culture.
Yeah, I see that as well. And I haven't caught your content, but I will check into it. But I've heard you on other panels, and I agree with you wholeheartedly. I hope you didn't think that when I say men will have to reimagine as if that's something wrong. Because see, everything I just backed it up with after I said that was saying, I know we three don't feel that way, that men don't have value without their resources. I
Yeah, a
couldn't
lot of
make
women
it
think like
if
that.
excuse me.
Yeah, a lot of women think like that, though. They think, okay, if I have to
I
go 50-50,
know,
what's the point?
I know, and there's a lot of men who think that women are what we are, and these three do not. You see how that works?
Mm-hmm.
But you're right. There is an audience for all these things, and I wish it was different. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. I wish it was different. I have men in my life, and you're so right. Men provide structure and order that feminine energy needs, because feminine energy tends to be chaotic. One moment it feels this, and next minute feels that. And now I think about this, and let me, while I'm thinking about it, I like your point too. You see how we do, where the masculine is just straightforward, it's right there, even if it's wrong.
So I think,
You know, even if it's
I
wrong,
mean, we're not the, you know, I don't know the statistics. I'm not about to lie, but I think men also have to evolve. They have to do some evolving with the modern woman, because we're not, you know what I mean? I don't think we're the majority. Most women see men as a resource, and most men see women as just, you know, something that they can put their seed in, right? And those have been the gender roles forever. So I think the women are doing great at evolving. They're making their own money now. They're out in the world, and men now are kind of like all thumbs. Like, what do we do since, you know, she doesn't need me to pay the rent? Like, what does she do? And every day, am I bugging? But there's a new vibrator on the market that's going
You're not
viral.
bugging. It's strategic. It's a strategic thing.
Every day there's a new vibrator going viral. I'm like, the rose, this, I saw one on my timeline today with a finger that shakes up, and literally a finger that shakes on the inside and sucks at the same time. I was like, what? I mean, what is going on? Every
Yeah,
week
it's
there's
just-
a vibrator.
I would have
Remember,
never known about
2045.
that.
Mhm.
I would have
Yeah,
never known about that, Jen.
Shit, man.
By
Niggas gonna need
2030,
help
they're
after a
saying what
while, man.
45% of women will be single and childless. So they're actually taking that and putting it into the market to make money. So they're even ramping up dog and cat commercials for the same reasons, because women need, you know, companionship, and then they're going to need pleasure. So they're trying to cover all the markets without a man. So I mean, there are marketers talking about this now on YouTube. Like, okay, how do we make money, you know, knowing that this statistic is more than likely going to be true? So they've been doing that for years. I mean, even when it came to Black women being single mothers, certain foods they were pushing out into the market because they knew they would be cheap and would sell well. So ramen noodles, Vienna sausages. Like, I think someone else talked about this on a separate panel, but when you think about the needs of your customer, you're going to think about what are they going to be spending money on. So that's what you want to put in stocks. Didn't we just talk about this? I think it was yesterday. So I'm like, how intelligent to look at the market or the people the way they are. There's a dog right there. I used to have a dog. Trust me, I loved my dog, but
Ron is ready for
I
the
would
new
never do it again. It's too heartbreaking. I promise you. I would never. I don't think I would ever get another animal. Yeah.
So Brienne, what do you think about the whole Cardi B thing and how, mainstream media has promoted her to the point where now you're going to be showcased on the most viewed show in the world, the Super Bowl, you and your husband. Your husband just had a cousin or a friend or whatever. I don't know what takeoff was to him. Just had someone murdered, you know what I mean? So there's gun violence, gang violence, drugs, stripping, nudity, and she's going to be on a global stage. A couple weeks.
I didn't. I mean, obviously, I knew that one of the members, was taken out. But are you talking about the fact that she would be the face of that instead of someone else?
Correct. Mm-hmm.
When I used to think about the Super Bowl, I used to think about the person representing pretty much the entire country. So, pretty much saying that's going to be our representation is going to be very interesting. It's just going to show where we're at right now. If someone's going to speak for the entire country and, multiple other countries are going to watch it, I would choose somebody that would be the best representation possible. So again, I don't know her personally or anything, but just from the clips I've seen, unless I'm truly missing something, I would want somebody that can at least articulate in a certain way that will make us proud.
So she's going to be it's going to be a commercial. And McDonald's is behind this. It's a McDonald's commercial. It's a McDonald's.
She was in a Pepsi commercial 2 years ago, though. She was actually
she did. She did.
Yeah. So she's pushing major brands. I hear a lot of people say, even, on the block and everything, like, no, I don't want my brand attached to this. I don't want my brand attached to that. That's not what I'm about because it's not good for the brand. And I'm like, have you seen what country you're in and the people that are pushing, these brands? I would never. If somebody told me 20 years ago that someone like Cardi B was going to be able to sell Pepsi and able to sell McDonald's, I would have said, no way, no way, no way in the universe are they going to let an ex-stripper, gang promoter, gang affiliate, someone who talks about drugs and strip. No way. McDonald's is not going to do that. Pepsi is not going to do that.
Well, they let Madonna do it. Madonna was out there. Of the time she was out, Madonna was wild.
Right, but what was she representing?
And Pepsi canceled her, didn't they?
No, she did that. The only reason they had to change, they cut they had to recut the commercial. Was that Like a Prayer one where they have the crying Jesus of the Pepsi, Diet Pepsi? They had to take that part off, but then it was like, and they made Pepsi. But the part that really got the people up in arms is that they made Jesus black.
I remember that.
Yeah, so it was that, and it's a. And she'd been doing like sexual stuff, way wild stuff, but not she's no criminality though.
Yeah, I mean Josephine Baker was out, shaking, boobs and all that with bananas. I'm talking about mainstream brands are now making these characters are the face of these mainstream brands. That's what I'm talking about. Madonna.
If it's going to make money, they're going to do it. It doesn't matter what it is.
That part.
Exactly. Money, do it. You follow the money. And I say that in almost every stream.
You got Snoop Dogg pairing up with another criminal, Martha Stewart. I mean, what do you expect? You got Joe Biden interviewing Cardi B. I mean, what are we expecting? This is the degenerative part of the culture, and it's great. It's great content. So we can talk about it forever.
What we're saying is the future criminal. Is that where we are?
Look, man. At the end of the day, the decency of these companies are entirely contingent on the climate of the culture. So if the culture is bullshit, and the companies are going to be like, well, fuck it, we can get away with it. You know what I mean? If they'll like the FCC, the things you can actually say now on TV, if you really think about it, you really couldn't say that back in the 80s, you know what I mean, or before that. But they let certain things be said now, like shit. I done seen bitch being said, hell, damn, fuck. All these
things. You can get one fuck out there, yeah.
Yeah, I was like, damn, they never said this shit when I was a kid, but the barrier.
I remember the first time I heard someone say ass.
Yeah, the barrier is so low now in our society. Companies are like, well, fuck it. If it's gonna make some money, let's just do it.
I want to say that like say ass on TV I want to say that was Fox that allowed that to happen.
Yeah,
right?
they
Yep.
did. It's,
It
was.
a lot of things fly.
Arsenio Hall or something like that.
I mean, was the
Yeah,
big? They did this big thing where they promoted that they were going to say "bitch" for the first time, or "fuck." It was like one of the big words that they were, and they did like a promotion for the first time on TV. What would you call it? And then it was just like, and they said, and it was just like, it just came and it just was like nothing.
This has got to be
But-
bizarre for Brienne to hear because she's like, these old timers, man. What are you?
No, I know exactly
just
what you're
showing our
talking
age,
about.
man.
Even on the
Just showing our
radio, even on the radio, I remember the first time they were allowing certain rap songs to actually have the word in it during the daytime, and I'm like, you guys are doing this during the daytime? And that was, I would say, like 5 years ago when we first heard like all of Biggie's, rap words and all of Tupac's, and I was like, what are they doing? So
Well,
I
what I
absolutely
just-
agree with Haran. Yeah.
I just want to
No,
say one more thing too.
Okay.
One quick thing. When we see how Cardi B and Jen, I've discussed this with you. The democratization of media, when that happened, mediocrity became king. It is just what it is. So you have someone like
Are
Cardi
you going
B,
through labor? Are you going to labor, Brian?
I don't know what that
Oh,
was.
shoot.
Holy.
Are we having
Whoa.
our first baby on the block too?
Oh,
What's happening? I'm sorry to
hit
interrupt you, but
record,
she's
hit
like going
record.
through
My
construction. I
stomach
recognize that.
My stomach just went, and I'm like, goodness
okay.
gracious.
We need to
Oh,
answer
okay.
that real
Sorry.
quick.
I saw you did it like
Block
twice.
on the block, baby.
I'm gonna start
They
Are
call me
counting.
you,
a
are you
bot.
sure you all
If
right?
it happens
You
one more time, I'll sign off. But that was bizarre.
Look,
I'm
look,
thinking-
our first on the block baby.
That
my
was
God.
That was
wild.
bizarre. I'm not
You
gonna lie. That
okay?
was,
You okay, V?
I think I'm
Okay.
good. But if it happens again, I may have to sign off because that was different. It was a
Okay,
little
now I'm
different
real
than what I'm used to.
concerned. I'm looking at her like, you gonna be all right?
It's my husband's day
All
off.
right.
If it happened today, that'd be perfect. So
Okay,
he'd already
good.
be here.
Fair.
Ooh.
Are you
All right.
due?
Mhm.
Is your
what was
due
that
date
saying?
now or?
Anytime this month, yeah.
Oh,
I
okay.
just
Oh,
went to the doctor.
anytime
She
this
could come
month.
in. I could any day, yeah. She said she would come any day. She's very,
Whoa.
very long.
That was wild.
I was like, wait a minute.
I saw that.
Yeah, that took me back. That took me back.
I was watching her twice. I was just like, and I'm like, is she having contractions right now?
I mean, I'm 9 months, so she can come any day and be perfectly fine. But yeah, that caught me off guard. It's like my whole stomach like sucked in and then released. It was bizarre.
Maybe she just sneezed. Maybe she just sneezed.
Okay.
That was
Right. Maybe
very
it's baby
fascinating.
hiccups or something. But yeah, that caught me off guard.
I wanted
Sorry.
That's great for ratings. Keep it up.
Right? First baby on the block. We've already had some interesting things happen up here.
I didn't mean to interrupt you, Ron. I'm sorry.
Oh, let me just the overall point of what I'm just saying is that when you have somebody like Cardi B, it's just easier for the general public to relate to her as opposed to you per se see Michelle Obama. A lot of people just revere Michelle Obama. They don't necessarily think they can attain all the things that she's done. They don't necessarily think they can accomplish all the things that she's done. She's just nice to say, wow, that's great. When they see a Cardi B, they'd be like, yeah, I can be like that person. This is obtainable. Even when they see Donald Trump, even though, take away his wealth, many men feel like, yeah, I can relate to this guy. I can be this guy. I can't relate to this highly educated black man. He's not even like any of the black men that I know. So, it is what it is. You know what I mean? So I get it. I get why Cardi B would be such a big deal in today's climate.
Yeah.
So I wanted to address this along with what you said, Haran, the mediocrity and like, would you say mediocrity is king now? And I feel like they're letting anybody in. You can't sing, you can get this contract. You can't dance, you can get this contract. You can't rap, you can get this contract. You're not attractive, you can get this contract. So, mainstream media has changed. The requirements have changed. Okay. So he or she says, I don't know who this person is. Cardi B worked hard to get to this point. Don't take away from her shine. We're not taking away from her shine. We're just having a discussion. You people have to learn to have a discussion without thinking someone's being attacked. Okay, that's another
I'm
thing.
not attacking her.
It's
I'm just
we're
looking
having
at
a
what.
discussion and no one's above being discussed, right? She's a celebrity. We talk about celebrities here all day. But I want to go back to what you said about mediocrity, because I'm like, well, she worked hard. She hasn't studied the craft of rap. You know what I mean? She does mumble rapping. Her bars are horrible. You know, she actually took the easy way out because she tells the story herself. Her mother threw her out of the house because her mother had rules. She didn't want to live under those rules. And then she decided, I have to make money, so I'm going to go strip. When you look at it, you know, from a person's point of view who's worked hard for everything they have, that's the easy route. It is very easy for a woman to get on stage and twerk. It's hard for a woman to go to school. It is hard for a woman to follow rules. It is hard for a woman to dedicate herself to being a moral person. Those things are hard. Getting up on a stage and clapping cheeks for money for a bunch of guys, easy. So, you know, I feel away when people are like, she worked hard for that. She went on a reality show. All right. Mona Scott opens the doors to the Ratchets, and she went on a reality show and fought everybody and threw drinks. That's easy. I can do that tomorrow. I know where those auditions are being held. I have a connect to those producers. I can show up tomorrow morning and decide to throw drinks at people and clap my cheeks on the weekend. That's easy.
Yeah.
So
I mean, like you said,
she worked hard.
she didn't get
That's
it out.
why
People think
I
because she
asked
didn't hold on, she didn't get it out the mud. She wasn't like that. What happened? It was like, yes, don't get me wrong. Yes, she was chosen to be in this position. It wasn't like she didn't create this lane for herself. She was at the strip club. Dudes was like, all these rappers would come in. They would say, hey, I like rap. They was like, can I be in your video? Oh, are you be in video? Okay. You know, girls, strippers, ex-strippers rapping is like the thing. I'll write something for you. You say it, and now you're a rapper. And then for the vast majority of her career, there's been people writing her stuff. And then, you know, now she may put something into it, but for the more part, she has been created. Her whole persona has been expertly cultivated to maximize, to kind of like exploit every negative thing that's in the community. Ignorance, provocative nature, foul mouth, fighting, violence, all that stuff. She encompasses all of that.
And
I would go as far as to say
that's my only point. That's not hard work. Her and I are from the same exact neighborhood, right?
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't this the same person who ran into the room because her daughter almost heard the song that she made?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I was like, I think this is the same person. I was like, she ran in to turn off her own music for her daughter not to hear it. So
that's good mothering.
So that goes back to what Damien said, where she's exploiting while she's being exploited. She's not dumb. She knows that the music is. It's not like this is some dumb woman who is like, yeah, everybody WAP, which stood for.
I think she's very intelligent. She knows her audience.
So she knows what her audience wants to see. I think she acts extra dumb sometimes because that's what her audience wants to see. I disagree, Code Red. I don't think her origin story is sad. I think she put herself in a position to have a sad situation. She had doting parents that she loves, mommy and daddy. She said herself, I didn't want to live under their rules. Versus a girl who's abandoned, abused, and she feels she has no choice, and she becomes a sex worker. But she had great parents. They wanted her in the house. They wanted her in school. They wanted her to follow rules. And she said, I'm gone. I don't want to follow your rules.
It's amazing.
And this is why I said
kids come from great homes, man. It's amazing how so many of them now, they come from these great homes, but they go out there and they create this brand of degeneracy as if they're trying to connect to their blackness, and the only way that they can is through projecting this degeneracy. There's a huge psychological factor connected to this. I suspect.
All right.
And this is
hold on. You need to go see somebody. Hold on. You need to log off and have your husband take you in someplace. So call the emergency care. Log off.
She's still
Baby coming. It's on the block. The baby coming.
Come on.
And
Log
video.
off. You got you.
Yeah.
Literally the second you said that, I was like, that feels kind of weird.
Yeah, I mean, seriously, you need to log off. You might be having Braxton Hicks or something. It might be something going on.
They say if you're having Braxton Hicks to drink a liter of water. So let me.
How about this? Get off, and if you're feeling good and we still on, jump back on. But get off. Pay attention. You need to really pay attention to what's going on. All right.
No, we need the baby.
No. She needs to get with her husband. She needs to get with her husband.
Oh my God.
I want the baby.
She needs to get with her husband, man.
show the baby, just like I showed the baby when you have her. So
Oh my
I don't think
God.
he'll let me put the
Bye,
baby on
Brienne.
camera, but I'll hold the baby up. Holy. Yeah, let me use the bathroom. Maybe that's what I need to do.
All
Okay,
right,
I'm gonna
well-
use the bathroom real quick and get some more water. I'll see you soon.
Mute and turn your camera off, and then if you good later.
Okay. Okay, Dr. Dame. Okay, bye.
I was a flight medic, and I was in the, and they taught us all about this when I was in the Air Force. So I'm all when it comes to medical shit, I'm all hyper vigilant, like, oh well, she's her, it's happening
The
again.
second it happened, he caught it. He was like, I saw it. Okay, take care, everybody.
All
All
right,
right,
bye.
all right.
Brianna.
Take care.
Let us know. Keep us posted. Y'all don't give a damn about my ratings or analytics. None of you.
Sam,
Get out.
I care about
enough.
that baby. That
Right.
baby.
Get out. The baby's gonna be fine. People have babies out in the jungle. Be quiet.
Like people
People
get
have
shot
babies
every
out in the
day, B.
jungle.
You be all right.
Yo,
No,
man.
Brianna's been lovely every time she's been up here. We are actually protective of her. So hope everything goes well. And if the baby comes tonight, the little baby girl, we will be happy and mucho congratulations. We love
Definitely.
us some Brianna really quick. Like she pulled on our heartstrings early. So we love us some Brianna. So good luck to her. But I'm excited if the baby does come tonight. We saw the contractions first.
Absolutely.
I want to add to with this Cardi B thing.
Yeah,
I think I understand what you're saying, and I totally agree that if it were a man, it would be a totally different reaction. It wouldn't fly. There's no doubt about that.
Dame, you want to mute
Damien,
your
what you
microphone?
doing over there?
You want to mute your
going on,
microphone,
Damien?
Dave?
Sorry.
Subjective sounds going on over there.
I'm moaning.
I was like,
They have some very suggestive sounds going on.
I'm
while
like,
you're
Tristan,
playing.
I got it.
The wife stuck in here and under the table. No,
Yeah, like, whoa,
Sounded
whoa.
like Tristan
Somebody else trying to get pregnant tonight. Somebody else trying to get pregnant tonight.
What's going on tonight?
Anyway. But what I want to say was what you were saying about the standards being lowered. I think if you think back, I think that is directly related to the social media we have today. You're able to get there used to be, we all remember there was a time where the news would say something happened. We're not going to show you this thing. We're not going to show it. And now it's like, turn your head.
I remember that.
Go out of the room. We're about to show something. Why? Because you can go online and log on and find it anywhere, find it everywhere, right? So I think that they're adjusting to the lower standards that we actually brought upon ourselves through social media. And to what Haran said, I mean, this is not really new when it comes to businesses. They're looking at the bottom line. They're saying we're going to do this, and it doesn't, because we see we're going to make money. It doesn't matter who we put up there. If you think about it, Coca-Cola, this is something all the way you can go back to Coca-Cola in World War II. How did Fanta come out? Fanta came out because Coca-Cola didn't want to see selling Cokes to the Germans, so they made Fanta out of those factories. That's how the soft drink Fanta came about. They didn't want, because it's not American, right? I'm selling Coca-Cola to the enemy. Well, let's just make some stuff called Fanta and we'll send it to the soldiers online, So it's really not new. It's just they're adjusting to what's out there and what people, and I think people maybe don't care as much.
I mean, when we were younger, like I said, when I said on another show, we saw a lot of R-rated movies. Like, we didn't really watch a lot of PG-13 movies. Like, a lot of the movies that were out were either maybe PG or G-rated, but it was a lot of R-rated movies. Jason, Terminator, Nightmare on Elm Street. There was kids watching this shit. What I mean?
I was one of them. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, exactly. So people were bringing their children to watch, Nightmare on Elm Street and so on and so forth. And there wasn't that big of an uproar about it because the culture was like, look, it's all contingent on the culture. If the culture's fine with it, they're going to put it out.
Yeah.
But do you think that the culture is fine with it, but do you think that we have a choice? Do you
Of course,
think
we
that
have a choice. We always have a choice.
I know. Do you think that collectively, like, let's say, for instance, like the shows 50 Cent got out, right? And I love me some 50 Cent. But the shows he puts out are about drugs, murder, and mayhem, right? And I always say he has 3 #1 shows in Black households. Do you think that it's possible or realistic that all the Black people that watch those shows just stop watching it? Say, we're against this. We're tired of being portrayed this way. We're just gonna stop watching this shit.
No, that's like all the Black people and slavery just happen to walk off the plantation at the same time one day. That ain't gonna happen. That's not how it happened. These people that are into that are just gonna be into that, and some, not all, because I've never watched any of these 3 most, his shows. I've never watched Power. I've never watched Empire. I don't watch those things. I don't have TV. But to think that's an interesting notion. If all so-called Black people just stop, participating in certain things like watching that kind of stuff. But again, not to belabor the point, that's like all the Black people just suddenly walked off the plantation one day without a civil war. That's what that's like. They are, because see, you have to understand, a lot of people didn't know they were slaves. So why are we leaving? A lot of people in this degenerate culture don't know it's degenerative. They don't know. Harriet Tubman said, I could have freed a lot more had they known they were slaves. I was like, why are we leaving home? And she's like, no, you're slaves. Today, people are like, why is this wrong? Why is this degenerative? I don't like the word wrong, but it's not your higher level selves. I can say that in good conscience. I don't think it's wrong.
That's interesting. That's interesting, Joanna. So when you say they don't know it's degenerative, why don't they know? Is it because they see themselves in these programs? It's normal for them?
If you can identify yourself, and see, I'm grateful for that question. See, I have a difficulty identifying my character in any of it. And so since it's not reflecting me, I can't get into it. I can't relate. You know what I'm saying? Don't get me wrong. I got degenerates in my family. I've confessed this on the internet. But for me personally, I could not. I just, but that's an excellent point, Jen. Why don't they know? It's because and let's be clear. These people have mamas and daddies who love them, and grandmas and aunties and babysitters and all that. They're, everybody deserves love and deserves God's grace. My point, in that environment, no, they don't know it's not right until the 2-year-old doesn't know it's being terrible until the parent grabs it by the hand and says, sit your ass down. And no one is saying to Black people or to degenerate culture, sit your ass down.
You know what?
Well, they get mollywopped, because I think Candace Owens does that very well. You know what I mean? But she's a coon.
Mollywop?
Can you guys hear me okay? I switched microphones. Can you hear me okay?
What's mollywop?
Just beat down. Just beat down, rated, insulted.
So,
Well,
the reason can I just say this? The reason why I feel like it's not being recognized as degenerative is because, you know why? It all works out in the end. There's always some degree of happy ending to it. Even if your favorite character dies, the main character, they always figure out a way to make the person you like or the person you're rooting for win. In most cases, they always watch. So it ties it up in nicely both. So let me get this straight. If I live this kind of life, ultimately it'll work out for me somehow. And yeah, I think you can say like, yeah, Ghost died or whatever like that.
I was about to say that.
but what happened was now his son take over the legacy, and now he's doing well. It's always that. It always works out. Yeah, it's always works. Exactly. So that's
Okay.
why it's like if they showed the real what it really does to like the culture and the family, yeah, you could say he's a drug dealer selling drugs, but they don't show the mother selling the TV or the pregnant woman prostituting herself and then shooting up. They don't show the real degradation of it. They just show the romanticized part. And everybody want to dress nice. Everybody want to look fly. Everybody want to own a nightclub. Everybody want to drive nice cars. So of course, that romanticized part without the degradation, without the downfall or the result of their actions is going to always be looked on in a favorable light. You got to show the other side of it. Even Snowfall barely touches on it. What's called? They do a better job than like the Powers and stuff like that, but they barely touch on the result of these actions.
I also think that, well, look, man, I understand the point that Joanna is making, but I think, and I understand the point that you're making, Jen. There comes a time where Black culture needs to understand that there's a space for maturity and productivity and progress and so on and so forth, or whatever, what have you. But a lot of times that's subconsciously put in a basket with whiteness. Because if you sit there and you tell Black people that, hey, maybe you guys need to do blah blah blah, so on and so forth, such as I've been accused of relaying white supremacist talking points. So there's a degree of
Same. They
repelling.
said that about me too.
I've been
So
called a coon by my colleagues and friends.
I said borderline coonery, but anyway, I said borderline. You say you were a whole coon. The borders.
Oh, now you calling me old? Did you say old coon? You call me coon. Don't call me old.
I said bordered. Bordered. Ironically enough, you didn't hear me when I said that. But anyway, what I'm saying here is that I'm often told that what I'm saying are white supremacist talking points. So by telling our community, hey, you need to be held accountable, we need to shift forward, we need to really think about our image, our brand, and so on and so forth. These things are there's just a lot of pushback on that. Look, I remember was it this week I sent you that photo, Jen?
Which one?
Of some of my partners that I grew up with.
Yeah.
And I was saying, seeing that photo recently and knowing where I am now, I could see the, let's just say, difference of paths in life. Some of us chose to go one way, some of us chose to go another. Now, a lot of times, I can acknowledge that I came from the same place that they came from. But I also can acknowledge that I chose to live my life a particular way that was age appropriate, that was based on some of the decisions that I made in life. That I wanted a different life for my child. I wanted a different world to live in, and I did not feel that some sort of allegiance to where I come from, the violent world that I came from, had something to do with me being proud of my Blackness or not proud of my Blackness. You know what I mean? My Blackness is not contingent on my ability to accept or repel degeneracy. It's just based on the phenotype classification that we collectively have accepted. That's literally it. And I'll pass the mic on that.
Do you think that it's time? I can relate to that because I didn't have an allegiance. I came from the rough background, did all the stuff that happens in the Bronx. But when I got older, I was like, I don't want to be a part of this. I didn't have an allegiance to it. I'm like, this is not how I think, how I feel. And then I broke away from it. Do you think it's time, right? Last question. Do you think that it's time for Black people to stop looking at themselves like a monolith? Because I hear a lot of, we love our Black men, right? Or, that's white people stuff. Or, if you don't think like us, there's this constant reminder of we're supposed to all be on the same page. We're supposed to move the same way. We're supposed to like the same music. And if you're on the outs, right? then you're a coon or a sellout or whatever? Do you think it's time that people let go of this collective idea of the Black community? Because we hear that a lot. You don't hear that about you don't hear the white community. You don't hear the Latin community. Everybody just does them, gives zero fucks. But for some reason, I think that in the Black community, they're holding on to this. No, this is our community, right? Don't let people come into the community, our spaces. I heard that a lot early on YouTube. You know, Jen is in Black spaces, and I had to keep repeating, you don't have a space. I am on YouTube. We are all on YouTube, but you don't have a space, especially on a white man's YouTube. We're all here, right? But you hear that a lot.
Somebody say that again.
You hear Black Twitter, right? There is no Black Twitter. There's a bunch of Black people on Twitter that relate to each other, but there is no Black Twitter. There's Twitter owned by Elon Musk, and you're on it, right? So there are no spaces, and I hear that a lot. People are like, why are you running a Black space? I'm like, you don't have a space. We're all on YouTube, right? So what do you think? What do you think about that? Constant.
I think you need to do a TED Talk on what you just said. That's what I think. That's what I think. And I keep saying this. There's no such thing as a Black community. Number one, because there's no such thing as Black people, Haran.
Wait.
Damon.
Okay. Let me listen. Thinking like
No,
that.
Saint.
There's a reason why.
Hold on. Did I interrupt you when you were speaking?
I thought you were just throwing shit at people. I didn't know. You said something.
Yeah. I'm almost done. Okay. I'm almost done, and you can sling it back. There's no Black community. There's no Black community. There's people, through whatever reason, have been conquered. We've been conquered. We've been conquered. Or if there's our ancestors, they've been conquered. Okay. And we're living within that space. Some of us got our mind right and said, I'm here now. I'm going to make the best of this. And then some of them decided they're going to become isolationists within a bubble, I guess, within some kind of hood or whatever, you know. But it makes no sense. When you don't have the resources to stand on your own, as she's so poetically saying, you got blackety black YouTubers while they're on the white man's YouTube, talking about the white man ain't shit, talking about what happened. You know, it's time to grow up. It's always time to grow up.
All right, so let me just say what
I always feel, real quick, Damien, I always feel like, you know, there just comes a time where you no longer look like you're trying to free up people. You just start looking stupid. Like I see that a lot with sports, like with football, and people like, oh, did you hear one of the coaches is racist? But you're gonna watch on Sunday, are you not? Right? So you start looking kind of stupid. It's you know, if there was a woman getting abused, the first question is what? Why didn't you leave? The first
Why
question,
didn't you leave?
And there's not an excuse in the world she could give you. We had children. I didn't have no money. You could have left. You have free.
You could have left.
You could have left. So similarly, I see that a lot when it happens with sports or any organizations where there's this big to-do made about it, but then you're going to line up for it tomorrow. So what are we doing here? Are you just, I think there's this obsession with, I just want to complain. I just want something to complain about. Which is fine, but let's be clear, that's what it is. It's not that it bothers you, it's just that it's a mere inconvenience every now and then.
The idea of the black community, I think why people hold on to it so much is because it can do couple things for you. Number one, it can give you identity. You can identify with things other than yourself. Like when black people do good, you can identify with that person. It gives you identity, but it also gives you security. It's secure to know that, like, there's kind of like an unwritten thing. Like I told you, I was in a bar in, or I think I said it to Annalisa. I was in a bar in Wichita Falls, Texas, when I was in the Air Force. One of 4 black dudes in there, and we didn't know each other, but we knew that if shit popped off, we would have each other's back because of this sense of community. I think that's what people want to hold on to. Like, we still, when shit's down, we will ride for each other even without knowing each other in a lot of cases. I didn't know these cats, but we kind of like congregated in the same area, kind of talked and stuff like that or what have you. And we kind of knew if somebody said something sideways to either one of us, we were going to have each other's back. That's the same reason why when you're walking down the street and you see another black dude, you kind of give him the "what's up," how you doing? Because I see you, black man, and I'm recognizing you. So it's there's a lot of degenerative stuff in the community. I think the music, the things we propagate, there's some things that we celebrate, but there's also that part of it. There's also the I see you as a man when other people might not see you as a man, and that goes way back to where it was kind of an understood thing in the Jim Crow area. When you see another black man, you acknowledge them, you recognize them because they probably lived the vast majority of their life being ignored and marginalized. So I think that part of the community is something that is a good thing. And I think that's the thing that people want to hold on to, where there's all these other things tearing at it, ripping it at the seams. But that part of it, I like the fact that if I go to Wyoming or Montana, I see a brother, that brother will most likely acknowledge my presence. Whereas it may be like, and it may be a genuine "I see you," as opposed to, hey, just a general kind of like acknowledgement. This is a "I see you" more acknowledgement. And if shit jump off, I don't even know him, and a lot of times I feel like there's I can count on you, what have you. And that's just like I went in and bought a bunch of clothes today. And I went in and the guy was like, hey, you want to apply for the Nordstrom credit card? I was like, yeah, sure, why not? Because I saw these other people turning around. So, you know what, I'm going to help you out, brother. This young brother, I was like, I'm going to go on and get the credit card. I'm not going to use it. I'm going to cancel it tomorrow. I get another 25% off of what I'm buying. Do it. And he was like, you know what, I appreciate that, brother. Because everybody been saying no to me and blah, blah, blah. I was like, it's all good. Would I have done that necessarily had he not been a brother? Probably not, because I didn't need the extra 25% off. And I didn't even know it till he actually asked me, till I said I was going to do it. But it was just simple fact that I saw him, I acknowledged him, and we appreciated that part of the community. I think is valuable and I think is necessary. And I hope never doesn't get overshadowed by the bullshit that's propagated out there.
So basically it's a trauma bond.
Maybe, if you want to call it that, sure, I'll ride with that.
I'll admit to the fact
Because-
that even though I have a huge problem with the degenerate area of our community, I still would never sell them out. I just still would never sell them out. It's just a certain code that I would stand on. I'll stay the fuck away from them. But I would never sell them out and throw them under the bus, because no matter what, at the end of the day, there is a white section of the world that no matter how cool or how much they may accept me on the surface, all that shit is on a clock, and all that shit is conditional at the end of the day.
I got so much pushback for that.
You know what I mean? So I'm accepted in that circle until I'm no longer accepted in that circle. So it is what it is. I'm clear on what I am in America. Totally.
But these are great points, by the way, gentlemen. Thanks for sharing, because this is your experience. But don't you think that conditional thing, doesn't that go across the board in any circle you're in? If you're not useful in a circle, nobody gives a fuck about you. If you
Absolutely.
can't do something for that circle, nobody gives a fuck about you. And that includes Black people. Like we get ostracized if we're not, if we can't relate to whether it's a group that does drugs and crime, or a group that's, in corporate America and making a lot of money. They have to see you as some sort of thing. So I don't think that's race specific.
I want to ask Dame and Haran something. It's so romantic the way I hear you speak sometimes. And I forget that it's very romantic and very poignant, and I make fun. I'm not going to make fun. What I want to ask you, because sometimes I feel like you speak so eloquently and romantically about Black people, as if you can relate to them all. And I don't think that's what you mean to come off meaning. Do you feel like you can relate to all Black people? Yes or no? Because I got points. Haran?
I feel that I can relate to a number of Black people that you can't relate to. More so Black
Okay,
people that you can relate to.
that's fair.
Now, let me
Now, wait a minute. This is yes or no. This is my time. It's just a yes or no. Remember,
Let
Haran?
me just clarify that. Okay, you know what? Yes.
Yes, you feel like you can relate to most of the Black people you come in contact
Yes.
with?
Yep. Yes.
Okay. Can you relate to my uncle coming up to you and he's trying to make a drug deal and he cuts your throat in the drive-through of the drugstore of the liquor store? Can you relate to that? To the brother on the street. He's on the street. He's got skin like the same color. He's lighter than you. My uncle is lighter than you. Can you relate to him? Is he your kind of brother?
I'm not going to say that
he's trying to sell stones. He's trying to sell stones at the liquor store.
Let me answer the question, or you're going to just keep talking over me? Can I answer the question?
I'm listening.
Okay, now, in that particular context, I've been next to a brother who's actually done that. And in that moment, yeah, I did relate to him.
How do you relate to him?
Because we were both starving at the time.
Because you're both starving?
At that
in
time
America.
that happened. And that at that time in America, yes, we were both starving at that time. So yes, I could relate to him in that moment that it happened.
Yeah, I guess I just cannot.
Yeah, but that's the point that I was trying to explain to you before because I knew where you were going with this. See, I'm from
But remember, I was the one that instigated the question and you're going on with that. I can't continue.
All right, then
it's okay.
Go ahead, continue.
You romanticize the so-called struggle. You talk about you starving together. It's a romanticization. Go ahead.
Wait for one second. Let me explain to you where I'm from. Okay? For a very long time, I lived in Trenchtown, Jamaica. Do you know what that is?
I've never been.
You know what that is? Okay, well, let me explain to you. That's a degree of poverty you'll never experience in your life. You have no clue what that is. And you have no clue.
I know I can't relate. I've never had a hungry day in America. I know I can't relate.
There you go. So you have no clue what a human being is actually capable and possible, what is actually possible if they're pushed to a degree of desperation in that moment. Because I've been there. See, I'm not a judgmental person like you are. See, I've been. No, you are. You are.
I'm judgmental.
You're extremely judgmental because you don't understand certain experiences. See, I've witnessed certain experiences. I've held certain experiences, and I've evolved out of certain experiences. That's the point I'm trying to make.
Can you explain me how judgmental?
Yeah, because you immediately sat
like everyone else.
No, you immediately sat here and said that because you have not experienced a degree of poverty, then you can't relate to another person who has experienced a degree of desperation and reacted in a particular manner. I can
How could I
understand where that? I can understand where that person is coming from. But you see, you asked me if I could, and I explained to you, yes, and I gave you the example.
All I did was ask you a question.
Now I understand why you can't, because you've never been that desperate, and you also makes you a rather judgmental person, which is fine.
That doesn't. Who agrees that makes me judgmental because I can't relate to being hungry? Because I didn't say hungry people are bad.
You think in your mind that if you ever experience that degree of desperation, you never do such a thing. Do you think that?
Oh, no. I've been arrested 5 times. Don't wait a minute. Hold on.
I didn't ask you that. First of all, I didn't even ask you what you were arrested for. You could have been on some traffic ticket shit. No, I'm talking about if you experience a degree of desperation that puts you in a moment that you are not proud of. Have you ever done that? Have you ever done that?
That's why I said I cannot relate.
Yes, sir. There you go. Then that is the reason why I say you're a judgmental person, because you have not experienced that degree of desperation, so you cannot relate to that person. I can.
What makes me
And I can sit, now,
judgmental?
wait 1 second. Now 1 second. I can also sit down and relate to a person such as yourself, because you place yourself in a position in life where you've extracted yourself from the Black experience, and you're very proud of that. Good for you. Now I can relate to that because I'm in a particular tax bracket right now that allows me to see things from a completely different scope and sphere. And now I can understand, like, oh, this is what white people were talking about. Oh, I get it, man. Because guess what? My money puts me in a different mindset, creates a different safe space that I can create for myself. So now I can relate to that experience because now I'm right down in the middle of it. You see how that works?
No, I don't see. What I do understand is what you're saying is your experience and what you've been through makes you be able to understand and relate to people in similar situations. But at the same time, what I'm saying is situations I've been through, if I haven't gone through that, then it makes sense that no, I don't understand that experience or their situation. Because see, with my uncle, no, I don't understand how you can be at the liquor store trying to push off some rocks in the drive-through of a liquor store. I cannot relate. That doesn't make me judgmental. That's telling you about me.
Look, listen, I'll be honest with you, straight up. I have no problem sitting down with a dude who committed 5 murders, whatever, so-called dregs of society. Just like I have no problem sitting down and having a conversation with CEOs or members in the governor's mansion. My ability to understand different experiences and understand human experience has brought me to different areas in life. And yes, I can understand that at the end of the day, we're all human beings. And you don't know what you would do under whatever circumstance if your life was on the line or if your survival was in question. A lot of people can sit and say
I didn't ask you any of that.
Hold on. Wait. I think there's two conversations going on here, and I think
something else is going on.
Let me finish, because I think, I can understand, and I'm gonna say this: I can understand being desperation. I think you can understand one, Haran, and you jump in and correct me if I'm wrong. There's a difference between understanding the thought of wanting to pull a knife and robbing somebody or taking somebody's money, but that's not the same as identifying with somebody who has the ability to do it.
Right.
This understand the circumstances that put them in that desperate mind frame and what you're doing, because that same person in the desperate mind frame can go beg for money, can go steal, break into somebody's and steal. They don't have to take a life. So I'm saying I get it. I understand desperate. Am
I judgmental for not being able to relate to that person's experience by saying I don't relate to that?
I don't believe you are judgmental, because I'm in line with you on there, Jawan. Is like I've seen poverty. I grew up in the OC projects. Any Friday from San Francisco know the OC project, out of control projects. Was when before my mom met my stepdad and we moved out of the motherfuckers. And I've seen people. I've seen I was like a Boys in the Hood. You want to see a dead body, kind of situation, And it was like, so I can understand but I don't feel like you relate to, because you wouldn't have done it, because I don't think you would have done it, but you understand the situation that cultivated the kind of mind that would do it.
To be honest, Dame, I appreciate your support, but this same uncle comes from a 2-parent household.
But was he on drugs?
I can't relate, sir.
Was he on drugs?
Let me jump in. Let me jump in.
No, yes, ma'am.
Thank you. First of all, John Lee, that's wrong. He says not a trauma bond, but relating to real life issues that attack the Black man, not trauma bond, because not every Black man is traumatized. We are stronger than that. That's bullshit. Okay, because even if you don't have the same experience as the other person who's been beat down in life, you have the experience of being Black as well. That is trauma. I've said many times on this show, being Black in this country creates trauma. Just being Black. You don't have to be a thug. You don't have to be a criminal. You could just be a Black guy working in corporate America with a suit and tie. And if you sit down on a subway next to a white person, the white person may react a certain way only because you're Black. So there is trauma. Whether or not you're a criminal or not, if you are Black in this country, there is trauma. There's trauma from growing up when you were little and you don't see yourself in a good light on TV. You don't hear yourself in a good light on the radio. All of that creates trauma. All of that is in your psyche. So yes, all Black people in this country have some form of trauma. Some don't, but most do. And I'll pass the mic after this. Joanna, you are judgmental. And I'm saying that from a space of, I'm judgmental as well, but I don't deny it, right? So there's a difference between saying I can't relate to that, because there are a lot of things I can relate to. There are women that are like, I'm gonna sell pussy because I need money. I can't relate to that level of desperation. I can't relate to that. But if I say to her, you selling pussy in America? Wait a minute, you've been in America your whole life, and you chose to sell pussy in America, in this country where you could get whatever you want. Now I'm judging her. Saying I can't relate is one thing, because I can't relate. But saying you're doing that in America, that's me judging. And that's what you do. You don't stop at I can't relate, because I can't relate. There's a lot of things we can't relate to.
Can you give me an example? Can you give me an example?
An example of what?
Well, I was asking Haran to tell me how I'm being judgmental, and he just kept saying because I don't relate. You're telling me simply because I don't understand something?
No,
I'm judgmental. Can you give me
no.
Can anyone, anybody from the chat?
She just did. Anytime you put that in America part, that's judgmental.
That's judgmental. That part is judgmental, because you're judging them. You're saying, how could you be in this country and ever have a hungry day or be desperate to rob somebody? That's
When did I say that? When did I say that? When did I say, how can you be in America and da 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 da?
Joanna is literally the core of your brand. I mean, it's like,
When have I? Yeah,
Am I bugging?
nah,
Not
no,
bugging.
you're not bugging at all, man.
I've said you're in America, da 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 da. I've said I can't relate, da 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 da. I said I've never had a hungry day.
Yeah, in
No,
America,
what you
was the most
said-
important white man on television.
No,
Yeah, you said that.
Let Lo Saint jump in.
He's been
Right,
a
what
fly on the
you-
wall, so he heard it all.
Haran was explaining that he knew, and he was in a situation where they were in a impoverished, they were starving basically. And so you said in America, and that's what you said, like as if
Like she couldn't believe
how could that happen here? So that's
And that's a judge. Are you all confusing judgment with a question?
The question was judgmental.
The fact that you did not even believe
Wait,
that there was a space in America
but you
where
did.
people are really that
All right,
poor.
I got something. Wait, I'm gonna throw something, and maybe Joanna was thinking, because you said something about Jamaica. Maybe she was assuming that maybe you were in Jamaica. I'm being serious. Maybe she thought that's not an area in New York. Maybe.
No, that's not
No,
what
it's-
that's not what she thought, because she said that numerous times on this.
She really did.
Oh, well, I'm trying to help you, Joanna.
That's her.
No, you're talking about Jamaica. You're talking about the island, Jamaica,
No.
right?
I was talking about the island.
No, it
in
was
that
in New York.
moment.
I
I was
thought
talking about the
that's what
island.
I,
wasn't talking
which
about
is a
New
very,
York.
which is a very poor nation. Yes, I'm familiar. I didn't think it was New York.
Corinth, Southside Queens. Jamaica
Yeah, I'm
Queens.
talking about South Side and shit. Like, nah.
Hey, if me saying I can't relate is judgmental, then I'll own it. But I would love for someone to really make that clear to me. But if you say and everyone agrees, I'll own that if that's judgmental.
Look, listen, Joanna, at the end of the day, essentially what I'm saying is that with your tone and the manner in which you approach these particular arguments and these points, it appears that you have no empathy for people who may not have experienced the same socioeconomic background you have. They may not have came from the same two-parent household. They may not have had the same strong male figure in their life. and they went down a particular road that you can't connect with, and for some strange reason, you believe that it's their fault entirely. Now
Well,
we
you're
can
a
have the
Christian,
argument:
Joanna. Are you
Excuse
not?
me?
Aren't
are
you
you
a
a
Christian?
Christian? Would Jesus do this? Essentially, is what she's saying, I suppose.
I think I'm
I mean,
talking. I'm not sure if I'm talking to the same Haran. I'm just flabbergasted that
the same
he is
Haran.
this
What is
triggered
this?
when we
Wait
talk.
one second. Wait one
When we
second.
talk. When we
I need
talk
to have
all the
I need to
time
ask a
about
question.
degenerate culture,
I
we
need to have
speak
a
all the time,
question,
and you've
Debbie.
agreed, and Damon sometimes agreed, but he's Damon, but definitely
But I'm dead.
Jen has come down on the degenerate culture really harsh, and I get the smoke. Okay, I'll take the smoke.
No, I get
Listen,
what she's saying. Wait. I get what Joanna's saying. I do get. Let's be fair.
No, you don't have to. No. I want to stand out here. Let me stand out here. If what you're saying is called judgment, you're right. I'm judgmental, but I have not said anything different than what Jen has said, what No Saint has said, and sometimes just a little bit Damon has said. But you have not been triggered.
No,
But that's
I don't.
okay.
No, I wouldn't
I'm
say
talking.
no.
I'm talking to Ron. I'm talking about Tehran. I know.
I wouldn't say no saint because no saint. He's like the kumbaya. Let's love the blacks. Okay, so
Except for tonight. That's why I got on you tonight. I was like, who is this man? He changed up.
I get what you're saying because I know
He-
Haran plus I don't really remember Dame having this attitude, but I know Haran and I are very much adamant about let them fucking die on the vine.
But so why is that not being judgmental?
I said I was judgmental 15
But
minutes ago.
he doesn't say that to you. Why? But why doesn't he say you're judgmental?
Two things can be right at the same time, be true at the same time.
That's true, but I have a question. Why
They
does
can be
he not say
judgmental and
Jen
you
is
still can be.
judgmental?
Here's the problem.
Why doesn't he say Jen is judgmental?
Listen, I told Jen she's judgmental. Many
Not
times.
on the internet, in public.
Okay, all right, Jen, you're judgmental. How dare you?
You guys have called me
How dare
judgmental. You guys have called me a fool.
My God.
You guys have called me. I mean, but I've never called you anything. But some of the same people, you say the same thing, and you have no smoke, Haran. I'm just shocked. Who are you tonight? It's like you and No Saint have switched personalities on me tonight.
Yeah, this bizarre world. I'm getting all the love and they're getting all the hate. It's like bizarre world.
If you can hear the sound of my voice, if you guys are in the chat or in the internet coming from Germany, Botswana, Timbuktu, Seattle, Little Rock, Arkansas, Joanna has not changed. These two gentlemen up here, No Saint and my beloved Haran DeMarco, have changed completely. I do not recognize them at all. No Saint has got up here and talked about the degenerates, which he never does. And Haran, who talks about degenerates every single night, has got on here and said, I'm judgmental for saying that somebody selling crack rocks in the liquor store parking lot is, I can't relate to that. But okay, you got it. Hey, Jen, and this is, and I'm not leaving because I'm upset. I'm having a wonderful time. But I got to be somewhere in 2 hours, actually, at 2 in the morning.
Ask you a question before you go. Just
yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Do you feel like you're harder on Black people being broken, poor, and degenerate than you are on other races?
I'm going to say this since you brought up my faith. God said he chastens me because he loves me. He punishes me. He corrects me because he loves me. If I didn't love you, I wouldn't even speak to you. And that's why I wanted to make sure I cleared some things up with Brother Ish. And I think I got through tonight with Brother Damon. I think he understands me a little better. If I don't call you out your name, I am not, we don't have beef. You might have a beef with me. If I never call you out your name, because I can. Yeah, I don't have a beef. I am just having a conversation with you now. I'm from the South. I talk loud. You know, that's how we speak.
Joanna, I don't speak Jesus, so I don't know if you answered the question. Are you harder on Black people being degenerate than you are on other races? Do you expect Black people to do better? That was the question. I don't speak what with
I don't like the word expect, but it is my expectation. Oh, that's a good one. I have
He said
great
expect.
expectations.
I don't expect, but it's my
I have great expectations for people who classify themselves as Black, because they are great people. They're beautiful people. They're inspiring, especially when they're not in their woe is meism, in their being weak, you know, and robbing people at the liquor store over crack rocks. You know, I hope that.
You have a bigger expectation for Black people than you do for other people.
Of course.
There it is.
When I say I'm not Black, that's a political statement. I'm not saying I'm not of you all.
Got it.
I'm making a political statement.
I understood that.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. It doesn't mean that I don't believe that you and I are connected, but we don't think the same, because just like I just said, I don't think like my uncle. I can't relate to that. If that's judgment, I guess I'm judgmental. God bless you. I love you, Haran. I hope you're not mad at me, even though you think I'm judgmental. I didn't call you a coward, though. You didn't put your hand up going for my neck. That's good. We're good. All right, Jen. Great show, Jen. I really do have to be somewhere at 2 a.m. I'm going to let you guys go.
All right.
Take
good
care
night.
of yourself.
Good night.
Good night. I love you.
All right.
We love you back, Joanna.
I don't know. You know, I'm just going to throw this out there. She may be trying to go get that experience at 2 a.m. in the morning. I'm just saying.
Wow.
She keeps bringing up that Annalicia thing, but I'm like, people have to understand Annalicia got what she got because I wanted her to get a taste of her own medicine. That's all it was. I don't do anything willy-nilly. I wanted Annalicia to see what it felt like to get berated by a panel over and over again, right? Like that's all it was. That's all it was. Who does she call a coward? Damien?
She didn't call me a coward. She didn't call me a coward.
Who did she call a coward?
I think Haran. She was referring to Haran. That's what Joanna was saying.
I don't know who was on it. Who was on the board? Was it
Glenn? Tristan,
Glenn? Fighter Complex. She might have called. She called Complex Black Jesus. Yeah.
That's all that was. That's all that I wanted her to get a taste of home medicine. That's all.
You know, when I listen to Haran and Dame and people on here giving their experiences, I do listen very carefully because I know I don't have all these experiences. I know a lot of I know people that have had the experiences. So I do realize that, you know, desperation will make you do a lot of things. Even though I've not experienced that, I can sit there and listen to people that have had those experiences and not be so arrogant to think that I wouldn't do the same thing in those places. Now, when it comes to what Dame was talking about, that he's got this connection with, you know, even if it's 3 people at a bar in Montana, I get that too. And why do I get that? Because when I'm in the military and I'm in a foreign country, I get the same experience with other military members. Like, they got my back. I'm here. These people jump me. I got a bunch of buddies right here that are wearing a green uniform like me that's going to come to my rescue. So I can, even though I don't have the experience of being a minority in this country, it doesn't mean I can't understand by listening and having some similar comparisons, you know? So I just want to say that.
I also want to say something. I think that a lot of times, and I've seen this in social media, and not even social media, I've seen this in real life, where people don't understand or allow people with certain perspectives to have a degree of layers connected to their perspectives. Like you can see me speak on a particular topic, you know what I mean, tonight, but that doesn't mean that that it's binary. You know what I mean? There's certain things where it's just some wiggle room and some nuance attached to it, based on the circumstance. And the reason why I am like that is because, like I said, I have experienced a myriad of things in my life where I can't necessarily sit here and say and be too judgmental with people. Now, I was also trying to actually state, but she just went off, and you know what I mean, I just let her, you know what I mean, finish. But I was trying to basically stress the point that, yeah, there was a time when I could relate to that particular dude who was in that desperate situation, in that moment, at that age, at that socioeconomic, you know what I mean, status. I can't relate to him specifically now. I'm in a completely different space. I'm an older guy. Like I was telling to somebody the other day, like I wouldn't get into a fight with the younger version of me. I most likely wouldn't win because the kid was too fucking desperate. He's fast. He's probably stronger. You know what I mean? He's literally has nothing to lose. Me, I'm picking up my kid from soccer practice. You know what I mean? I'm in a completely different space. So yeah, right now, like I said, when I said, yeah, this is what white people were talking about, I get it now. And there was a time when I said that, yeah, white people are judgmental as fuck. But in that moment, when I was in a particular space and I got a vase that costs $1,000 or $2,000, I can sit here and for a moment, like, yeah, I was judgmental as fuck because I was removed from that experience for so long that I've been removed from that experience for like 20 years. So I can understand what Joanna is saying. I can see what she's saying because I've lived her life now as an older person, but I lived the life of the person that she's condemning a long time ago. You know what I mean? And life is just that complex, man. You know what I mean? You can sit here and understand why someone is doing this and why someone is doing that if you live that, if you were that desperate, if you were whatever. But if you can't relate, that's your business. It is what it is.
I love
but
that.
We're all judgmental at the end of the day.
I love that point because that happens a lot with public figures, and even we're all public figures now, right? Because we're talking to the public. And people don't let you have layers. Like I'm very judgmental. I'm also very compassionate, right? And both things can be true. Like Dame said, both things can be true. I'm very judgmental, but you know, I've done crazy shit in the Bronx, but even in the Bronx, I was like, I can't get down with that. I'm not going to do cocaine. No, I'm not going to smoke the weed. No, you know what I mean? So I've always been, you know, all over the place. I'm compassionate, but I'm also judgmental. I'm going to be like,
and I think judgmental isn't all encompassing. It's like, you know, it's like there are certain things like people are like, oh, what do you believe? Like there's certain things I'm very conservative about and some things I'm extremely liberal about.
Of course.
So I judge the situation according to my value system.
Of course.
You know, like I said, you want to buy some weed, go do it. Buy all the weed you want. You know, you want to rob me to buy that weed, that's different. What I think you should get, but the punishment you get for robbing me is different.
Right.
So, you know, that's what people are trying to say. But if you kind of like paint everything, I think, and I know we don't like it. What you want is just like if it comes from a place of well, I did it, why can't you? Then your whole basis is judgmental. It's like everything you say after that.
Yeah, and that's what I find, and that's what really irritates me about certain segments of society that have that look like, you know, I did it, why can't you? Well, because we didn't live the same exact life, first of all. And when I look at like people like condemning people that are, I understand you got to have some kind of a secure, like a border, right? But when you can't understand, when you don't have compassion enough to understand why these people are coming, it's not like they're trying to come to the United States because they hate where they came from. They're in desperation. Most people, if they could live in their own country and and have even the bare minimal, they wouldn't leave. You know what I mean? So I have a hard time with people. I have a hard time with people that can't at least try to understand that because you're in a certain situation. Sometimes it's just because you were born into a certain, or you were born, or you know, it's not all on. I hate the whole thing. Like you know, like you're taking credit when you had some advantages. You know, you need to be able to look at the advantages and say, well, you know, I didn't start out starving with dirt floors. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Like Joanna had a great father who instilled values and morals and things like that. So she had a head start. A lot of us are born, you know what I'm saying, in the trenches, you know what I mean? And we got to figure it out because our parents are trying to survive and just keep us fed. So they don't sit down and have those conversations with us about, you know, life. No, they're just like, I got to keep these fucking lights on. And we may not have lights next week. You know what I mean?
And it also takes them out of for a large amount of time, takes them away from their children to be able to instill certain things because they're just trying to make it, like what you're saying, you know. And I don't know, I just yeah, so I totally understood where Haran was coming from, even though I haven't been where Haran has been. I can take a broader look at it and say, yeah, if I was in that situation, I'm no different. I would.
And the way you gauge your desperation is relative to your situation. Some people be like, desperation. I guarantee you the level of desperation in somebody's mind. You take somebody who's starving in Trenchtown and is desperate for food, in the level of their, and match them up with somebody who is a billionaire on Wall Street and just lost 80-90% of his income. The desperation in their mind is equivalent, and the things they're willing to do can be extreme.
Yes.
Like somebody said, if Bill Gates woke up one day and had Oprah's money, he'd jump out of a window.
There's wealthy and then there's rich.
Right. Sure,
all right,
I'll take either.
It's like we survived another one. I keep aiming for 2 hours and we always end up here 4 fucking hours.
I keep telling them, like, just no. It's just no.
No, but that's just because it ends up, things get brought out and so it drags on. But it's very good.
We get therapy over here. We get therapy as we learn about each other. Sheesh. But you know, everybody's always welcome until you're not. Everybody's always welcome.
It's all good till it ain't, right there.
Yeah, exactly. Seriously.
You gotta get
shit
jumped
was all
in.
good just a week ago.
You get jumped in, you get jumped out. You know.
Yeah, right. There you go, baby. It's all love, man. That's the real block for you. That's the real block.
That's the block. Packed off the set. You get packed out run up off the set.
Exactly.
Seriously.
Look at Code Red. He wanted us here. He said 2 hours is too short. Code Red. Good night.
2 hours. Hey, 2 hours.
Creative mind.
There's no doubt about it. 2 hours is kind of quick when the conversation's good.
A lot of us. That's why I be
when it's like
you along. Like, come on, get in, get out, so we can hear from everybody. That's why I try to speed you along. But we doing great with pace now. Before, you guys were long-winded as fuck.
And then I'm constantly looking at the clock, the runner, like, okay, where are we at now? Am I gonna have enough
my TV in front of me has like the clock scrolling, so every now you'll see me look up at the clock and be like, damn.
But honestly, my shit says low battery, and I'm not running upstairs to get the charger. So let's say goodbye now before I shut down, and we're like, So,
all right,
everybody.
Good night.
I'll see y'all, my brothers, my sister.
Another great episode.
Another
great episode on the block with Jen.
Yeah. Good night. All right, guys. That was beautiful. Always great conversations. Feel free to join us on the panel, but you have to show your face. Thank you for supporting. Don't forget Cash App on the block with Jen, so I could keep these lights on and keep entertaining y'all. Thank you for holding me down in the chat. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe if it's your first time here. These are the conversations that go down. And also hit the notification bell so you know when I'm on. And check my community tab. That way you always know what's my next topic and when I'm going to be on if you're curious. It is in my community tab. I always throw my thumbnail in there. So before I get shut down, because I got a low battery, good night and have an amazing Sunday. Good night, guys. Take care. Be judgmental, but be compassionate too. All right, guys. Good night, David Dillon. And I'm out.